Hey, Liberian people, we're here again to fight the good fight. And our good fight is about Liberia. We will always be here, God willing, to fight this good fight. We had gotten to an area where we expected corruption to push back. And there is no doubt in my mind that corruption was going to push back. But I think if there's anybody who is prepared to counter the pushback coming from corruption, it is President Joseph Yaman Boakai. There is nobody more prepared to fight back against this push against corruption. So you can push back all you want. You can threaten the state. You can go from radio station to radio station as being done by Summit Web. You know, Summit Web stated now it's going to be a political war, and some of them are claiming and threatening the state that the state will not survive if the state intends to fight corruption. I want Liberian people to tie their waist. And I can guarantee you President Boakai has tied his waist because he understands the fight that he's taking on. It is a massive fight. And the Liberian people must rally around this president if there is going to be any form of success when it comes to the issue of fighting corruption. Corruption is going to fight back. The likes of Sametwe and his cohorts and his drug dealers, they're all formulating the formations to counter the push against corruption. But we will say to them, we will be here and we will speak to the Liberian people to fully understand. We expect corruption to fight back. We expect the naysayers and the seditions, not even seditions, because seditions outbursts are clear. They are no longer following. It's the Weashens that believe that they can threaten to destabilize our republic because corruption is being fought. Their aim now is to threaten the courts, threaten judges, and spew all kind of garbage that are lies to make it appear as though the president is going after them personally. If you took the Liberian people money, I believe if I were in charge, I would go after you personally. If I were in charge, I would go after you personally because you went after the children of Liberia personally. You went after the future of our country personally. But the law will go after you in whatever hole you crawl into. You can scream, you can kick. The law must take its course in Liberia. And we expect this noise coming from the likes of Sametwe, from radio station to radio station. I don't intend to play some of his stuff he said here today, but it's a video. I will play this video for a specific reason to give you the intent and the psychology from the likes of Sametwe, the McGills of the world, that are publishing nonsense and claiming whatever they want to claim out there. The drug will be removed from Liberia. The cartel is going to be dismantled. If the cartel is funding the Weashens and the operations in the country, the government is going to dismantle the cartel because Liberia must survive. Liberia will survive. I want to welcome all you guys that are popping in here. Thank you for joining this conversation. Liberia will survive. You can scream, you can kick, you can threaten the courts, you can threaten the judicial system, you can threaten the Republic of Liberia, you can threaten the peace of this republic. You are not going to succeed because Liberia is firm in her grounding. Corruption will be fought. We know corruption will bite back, and we know some of you guys, you're using drug money in the country to destabilize this country. We will dismantle the cartel because our children must have a future. I want to welcome David Y. Maluba. Mr. Maluba, welcome to the show. John B. Flange, Mr. Flange, welcome to the show from District Number 3 in Grand Bassa County, West Africa. Welcome. Yasa Jala Chie, out of Texas. How are you doing, my mom? Henry Sloan, Martha Doki, Liberia first. Liberia always, Liberia lies in everything. I'm going to say this to you. This country will develop, and corruption is going to be fought. It don't matter how much you scream. Personally, to me, the more you scream, the more you wear white, the more you roll in the mud, that the more we will tie you and chunk you inside a jail cell in solitary confinement because you will not destroy this country anymore. You can come up with any kind of lie. Oh, they're witch hunting me. Oh, they're threatening judges. Oh, the Supreme Court, the judges are crying. They're doing, all of them are all lies. And we will counter this. And I'm going to encourage every single Liberian in the Republic of Liberia, especially if you want a future for our children, if you want a future for our families in Liberia, you must get far away from these lucky grown-up boys that's trying to tear up the fabric of this country because they want to walk scot-free. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You're welcome to the show. Let's listen to the current erect managing director, Honorable Clark.
The court has ruled, and the decision of the court has to be effectuated.
Is this a win for the asset recovery?
This is a win for Liberia in the fight against corruption.
What next?
Well, you know and I know that this is the commencement of the court proceedings, and the bond has been set aside and she has been ordered committed in a common prison. So the next action now is for us to make a sign of the proper case and go to trial.
Counsel, how do you respond to political witch hunting?
I'm not witch hunting politicians. I'm witch hunting people who commit crime.
Counsel, how will you respond to statement at the weekend by Madam Bono? There were some efforts made for him to not go to jail, and some of our own people went out to go to jail. I'm not part of the own people.
I love Councilor Claude Martin. He understands this job. He's not witch hunting anybody. Every single time you journalists mention this thing, you're diminishing Liberia. We are supposed to be hunting witches. There is absolutely nothing wrong with hunting witches in Liberia. This nothing. I want you journalists to read more and come up with better words for your country. Every single time they go after a criminal, you label a political witch hunt. There is no political witch hunt in Liberia. Everything is being done through the court. Just because somebody scream, oh, they are hunting me because I'm a political actor. You are a finance minister. You are not a politician. You were a technocrat. And if you stole from the Liberian people, there is absolutely wrong for the government to demand that you return what you stole from the Liberian people. That is not witch hunt. That is justice. I want to welcome Arnold Joshua Wilson. Welcome to the show. Victoria Brown, how are you doing, my man? Welcome to the show. Blamoto, welcome to the show. My brother Emmanuel Johnson, Mr. Johnson, welcome. Madam Vicky K. Falcone, how are you doing? KW Cole, out of Adelou, Texas, welcome to the show. My brother Loa Carter, welcome. All you guys that are coming in from across the country. We want to say big shout out to Premier FM out of Bangabong County. Thank you for joining us. Christine E. Franklin Sr. out of Nima County, Ganta City. To our people in Ganta, we say hello. Semeji Salabasa, welcome to the show. I want to welcome all you guys. Remember, Sia Snarling is always here and present. Sir Blama, my brother Sir, how are you doing? Welcome. David Akwawala is also here. Alexander Abodi, welcome to the show out of Norfolk, Massachusetts. Welcome. All you guys are coming in from across the country. This battle, this war, you want to call it, it is a direct war against corruption, and President Joseph Yamambwaka and the Liberian people are going to win this war. The politicians, the technocrats, the naysayers can spray all the money they want to spray around. This is a fight that must be fought. This is a fight that must be fought. Corruption must be whipped out of Liberia. And if there are witches that are proliferating corruption in our state institutions, they must be hunted down. There is nothing wrong with hunting witches in Liberia if those witches are standing in the way of Liberia. I want to continue to welcome you guys. Let's listen to Arthur Johnson, the self-professed most educated lawyer in Liberia, as he talks tabata that is not true. Listen to Arthur Johnson.
There have been nowhere where after the jurors have been disbanded, I'm not saying where the verdict comes back and they are not disbanded, but where the jurors have come with a verdict and they have been disbanded, meaning the court has no jurisdiction on you, and the term of closed court has ended. That judge has no legal authority to call that jury back to question them on allegations of how they voted and why they voted the way they voted. It had never happened in our law, in our system. I challenge any lawyer or any legal practitioner to show that. That's one. Two.
Arthur Johnson just lied on camera. That is a blatant lie. It doesn't matter whether it's 2 weeks, whether it's 6 months or 7 months. Liberia's jurisprudence starts here in the United States. In fact, Liberian law, literally, the process of the law in Liberia extends to the United States. If there is a case law in Liberia that you cannot find, Liberian courtroom extend that case law into U.S. courts. So let me say this again. If there is no such ruling in Liberia, and we cannot find it in Liberia, and we want to cite a case in Liberia, if you're practicing law, it extends to America. In America here, there are verdicts that have been rendered by jurors, and it sometimes takes 6 months, 7 months, and the judge can set aside the verdict, yes, after the jurors have gone home, and then the court comes back and say, listen, there was some form of jury tampering. They can bring that case back. So Arthur Johnson just lied. In fact, most recently, I believe it was out of South Carolina. If you remember the case, the judge withdrew the case after 7 months and called the jurors back. So you cannot tamper with jurors. You cannot bribe jurors. You cannot influence jurors. And then you expect the judge to do nothing. So Arthur Johnson just lying to the Liberian people, believing nobody else understands how the law works. Well, let me tell you something. For a very long time in Liberia, you did not have to go to law school to become a lawyer. You can become an apprentice or a lawyer. Most of our early lawyers in Liberia, they didn't go to law school. They became apprentices on other lawyers, and then they took the bar. In fact, here in America, it still happens. Not everybody who's a lawyer in America in some states go to law school. You can become an apprentice after certain years. You can go and take the bar and become a lawyer. So the reason why I'm saying this, the common man, as educated as I am, I'm not tuning my own horn. I'm supposed to be able to read the law and understand the law. So that's how the law is written. So when the likes of Arthur Johnson come out there and tell you that this has never happened. So what Arthur Johnson is trying to tell the Liberian people, I can go ahead, I can bribe jurors, and if they don't find out that I did this, that I compromised the case and I won that case should be allowed to stand. That is not true. Arthur Johnson just lied to the Liberian people. And guess what? The law will continue, and Arthur Johnson is not going to stop there. This country must develop. It doesn't matter how you scream. It doesn't matter how you yell. It don't matter what you say. Liberia will develop in this moment. And President Joseph Boakai is on a mission. And this mission was not just begun. During the 2023 campaign, President Boakai made some comments. And one thing I love about this Pape, the Pape can stick to his word and he will stick to it. I want to continue to welcome you guys. Let's listen to our president back in 2023.
Even these people who are stealing, they think they will care, they will think they're just like that. It's not going to work. The law will deal with them. The law will deal with them. Tell the Liberian people money. You didn't come to power to come steal from people. It's a shame. With all of you standing here, I'm just like you. You wish me well, you stand in the rain. Then I go and steal from you. Me, I can't do it. It's a shame. I can't do it.
Yes, President Boakai made a promise. President Boakai is keeping that promise. All of y'all, what was stealing from the Liberian people, you will not get away with it. You can kick, you can scream, you can clean wishon, you can threaten the judiciary, you can threaten the peace of our republic, you can say whatever you want. This country will fight corruption. Listen to the nonsense coming out of Samuel Tour's mouth, believing that by he yelling and screaming, that means we will leave him alone and he will walk away with over $6 million that we know about. We know he stole far greater more. You're going out there for 6 million. Listen to the nonsense he's spewing.
Warning them that this country will not go back to the dark days of death and chaos. No. That the rule of law will remain the rule of law. And no president, how mighty, can bend the rule of law to his whims or caprices. This is what is happening. It is more than a celebration of the CDC 22 years of existence. It is to put into relief the monstrous tragedy that awaits this country under Joseph Boakai and Jeremiah Kuhn. That the 250,000 people that died, whose blood nourished the watering of our democracy, would not have died in vain. We are gathered here today to tell the world that Liberia will remain a democracy. That Supreme Court justices will not be threatened. That jurors will remain free. The reckless regime will be destroyed by the unity of our opposition. And hence we are here to send a clarion call Their petrification is only beginning. They will shudder in fear going forward until we hit 2029. When the Liberian people will have a mass and say, we're sorry, we made a mistake.
You listen to the garbage, the filth coming out of Samuel Twer's mouth. The mistake we made was giving this country to bottom feeder like yourself, the lucky Grenada boys. Via the smokers, we gave this country to them. And he got the gods to believe that the looting and the pillaging of this country, the fleecing of Liberia should not be addressed. Samuel Twer, you will no longer see power in this country. You are asking for Ben Lebanon, the dictator, to come and take over this country. We say to you, the money you stole from the Liberian people, you will vomit in. You can scream. You can pull people behind you. You can jump up and down. Winds and caprices. That LU English. It is not going to hold. You will pay the consequences in our courts. Taking you to court, it is not extrajudicial. It is the way of a civilized people. Nobody's witch hunting you. I don't care how many times you scream witch hunt in our country. You have already admitted to taking the money. On oath. You went to the Supreme Court and said, yes, we did take the money. But President, we are instructed us to take the money. We have immunity. The court ruled that you do not have immunity. Secondarily, you claim you used the money for national security. They brought in the national security actors, all the agents, the generals, the directors of national security. They said, we didn't see that money. They said, where the money at? Then your father went to court. He said, it's a national security matter. I cannot explain it to you all. Nobody can prove where you took the Liberian people money. And then when they're asking you to show where the money went, you come here and say it's a wish hunt. Mr. Samuel D. Twer, if I and Su Opa Zina Bola Kai Dwalu were president, you would not be outside. I guarantee you that. You cannot destroy the future of Liberia and you're walking around scot-free making B-more. It will not hold. It will not hold. The justice of our country must prevail. President Bwaka has made a promise to this country, and I have no doubt in my mind that President Bwaka will keep that promise, that the issue of corruption will be confronted head-on. Without any form of equivocation, we will confront corruption head-on, and those who continue to destroy the future of our children must be stopped completely in their tracks. They must be stopped, and corruption must stop. I don't care who threatened war in the country. I was listening to Abraham Williams. He's talking nonsense about war coming back to the country. What war come out of Liberia? Abraham Williams and all the seditions that are threatening war in Liberia, war will never come back to this country. If the fight against corruption means war for you, that your war will be fought only in your head. We are not going back to war, but we are going to fight corruption. Corruption must be confronted head on because corruption has destroyed this country for too long. It doesn't matter how much money you have stolen. If you think you are going to use drug money to destabilize this country, the cartel will be dismantled in Liberia. Because Liberia must be a civilized society and we must develop. Corrupt actors must be put in jail 40, 50, 60, 100 years in jail so Liberia can breathe. Liberia must breathe. You cannot continue to have your knees on the necks of the future of our children so only you and your 5 or 6 children can enjoy. And while the entirety of Bopolu City, our children in Bopolu City, can be stuck in the Stone Age. We say no to that. Corruption must leave Liberia and they will be removed through the courts. I want to continue to recognize you guys. Welcome to the show. Carino on Tia, welcome to the show all the way out there, man. Listening on Bootor 102.3 in Sando County. Welcome. Juliet, what's that? It's a Kenda Kabe. Welcome to the show. Kwame Akofo, my brother Kwame, what's going on with you, man? Welcome. All you guys from all around, my brother Dwana S. Dwana. Listen to the little girl that stole our money and enjoying our money all around the globe. Look how she's talking about Liberia, and look how she's talking this nonsense. It pisses me off every single time. And then listen to her a little bit. Listen to her, yeah. Look at the nonsense she's talking.
There are 24 hours in a day. My parents have the same 24 hours that your parents have. Everybody's parents chose their profession. Mine chose politics. So how is it that I really don't understand what crime we committed? And I never thought it was really that deep or serious because obviously where I'm from, Liberia, is basically a third world country. So the country itself is poor and it's not there. But we the privileged few, or we that our parents are like giving us the good life.
Y'all. We the privileged few. Liberia's a third world country. I didn't know it was that serious. It is that serious. Because no clean drinking water in Nima County. Young woman, when your mother steals over $6 million from the Liberian people, it is that serious. When you say, I didn't know it was that serious. It is that serious because in Riverside County, people are sleeping in the dark. Women are dying in childbirth. Our children can barely go to school. Almost 60% of the young women in the country drop out of high school before the age of 17 and they get pregnant. It is that serious, young woman. It is that serious. If you go into my beloved Grand Bassa County, go into rural Grand Bassa County, there is no clean drinking water. Do you know what $6.8 million can do in Grand Bassa County? It is that serious. So when you say we the privileged few, when you say it's not that serious, Liberia is a third world country. My parents chose politics. Politics is not synonymous with stealing, despite what you may think. Politics is in service to the people. It doesn't mean you take the people's money. When you say it's not supposed to be that serious, it is that serious. Because if you went into Lofa County today, the average person in Liberia will live no more than 65 years on the planet because we die early. Our life expectancy is extremely high, young woman. It is that serious. It is that serious because our clinics and our hospitals, our universities are putting out substandard everything. It is that serious. When you take the money of the people in rural Masorada, it becomes that serious. If you look at Bomi County, how poor that county is, it is that serious. If you look at Cape Man County, where men and women, our families cannot stay together, it is that serious. Corruption, it is that serious. I'm going to play that one more time so you can listen to this young girl. Maybe people don't get it. It is that serious. It is extremely that serious when our children have no future. I want you to listen to her one more time.
There are 24 hours in a day. My parents have the same 24 hours that your parents have. Everybody's parents chose their profession. Mine chose politics. So how is it that I really don't understand what crime we committed? And I never thought it was really that deep or serious because obviously where I'm from, Liberia, is basically a third world country. So the country itself is poor and it's not there. But we the privileged few, or we that our parents are like giving us the good life.
We the privileged few. And I'm blaming you, mama. And I'm blaming you. Liberia, this is a third world country. How would that be third world when your money is stealing from the country heavily? How would that be third world when you say it's not that serious? But I don't blame you. I blame because we stay happy. President Baka will develop this country. Let's listen to some Liberians here as they continue to celebrate the good work of the country, of the president.
What? The Preso. Yeah, Preso. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. You been here, Kellerman, Preso. Look, let God bless you. Yeah, let God bless you. As a year of fast story bidding a Kellerman. Look, let God bless you. Let God bless you. Look, we're looking there. Oh man, we're looking there. I pray to God to still be alive for the opening eye Kellerman to see our Liberian children. Our children get into a Kellerman. Yeah. Oh man, you got dreams. You got dreams and dream. Dreams. Oh man, dreams. Dream. And let it dream come.
He got a lot of dream for the country and the president. We must rally around this president. Kona Goto, we must rally around this president. Patrick, we said we got to rally around the president. If this push for corruption to minimize corruption to the most minimum level, the smallest level in our country, if this president can reduce corruption where people can have a healthy fear of the people's money, we say, Mr. President, we celebrate you. We pray for this because my brother Jala Kekula, pray for your country and let's reduce corruption. We know we cannot get rid of every corruption in the country, but let's go to a level where people have a healthy fear of the people's money, and let's put clean water in Bopolu City. Clean water. Yeah, what people will not die and they not be on the skin. Well, we don't call each other dirty dog. You're sorry for the speech, but you understand what I mean. Clean water must go into Cape Mount. Let must go into Cape Mount. Okay? Decent quality hospital must go into our counties, into the capital city, upscale standard of living, quality education, where people cannot graduate from LU and they read on a 9th grade level. It takes money, it takes calculation, and it takes an aggressive push against corruption. In fact, you're listening to my own Jew Fatima. Let our children be graduating, our young women, and the Mossad of Fatima be not leave. There is a reason why we must educate our young women. Fatima, take it home for us.
Moderators, distinguished ministers, excellencies, I bring you warm greetings from the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Boakai, Senior, the Minister of Local Government, and the people of Liberia. Today, rapid urbanization presents both tremendous opportunities and significant challenges across Africa. Our cities continue to grow at an unprecedented pace, creating increasing demands for housing, infrastructure, transportation, sanitation, and essential public services. If managed effectively, urbanization can become a powerful driver of economic growth, innovation, and social transformation. However, without coordinated planning and strategic investment, it can also contribute to the expansion of informal settlements, environmental degradation, and growing social inequalities. In Liberia, we recognize that affordable housing is not just a basic human need. It also enhances human dignity. Affordable housing is a driver of progress in health, education, and economic opportunities. Thus, affordable housing and sustainable urban development are critical to human capital and national development. This is why our government remains committed to strengthening urban planning systems, improving land administration, enhancing infrastructure development, and creating an enabling environment that encourages responsible public and private sector investment in housing. Liberia currently faces a significant housing deficit, with demand projected to reach over 500,000 housing units by 2030. Requiring the construction of at least 30,000 new homes each year. Rapid urbanization has further increased this demand. This housing deficit is driven by rising costs of living, high construction costs, limited access to housing finance, rapid urbanization, and widespread poverty. This means provisions of affordable housing is no longer viewed simply as the construction of buildings. It is also positioned as a platform for creating jobs, promoting entrepreneurship, and expanding financial inclusion through initiatives such as the Program for Youth Entrepreneurship Investment, Youth Entrepreneurship Investment Bank. Young Liberians are being empowered to become architects, engineers, developers, and business owners. At the same time, women are being encouraged to participate as financiers, developers, and leaders in the housing sector, advancing on gender equality and strengthening their role in national development. I thank you.
How do we get the rest of our girls to Fatima bin Salif's level? That's how serious this is. How do we present ourselves in this fashion that's being presented by Fatima bin Salif here, talking about urban housing units being built and the president's vision to improve and increase the number of houses being built in Monrovia and the cities across Liberia. We want to say big shout out to Fatima for representing Liberia well at the United Nations. This is a big deal. Our country can be seated at our proper place of prominence. We got work to do, and corruption must not stay in the way. I want to continue to welcome all you guys from across the country. Liberian will not stop celebrating this president because he's on the right track. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome.
I seen the development, the correction, and everything in the community. We see you say for in politics.
Hey, my beginner, you celebrate your country. Don't just celebrate President Boakai, celebrate your country. And yes, Mr. President Boakai will develop this country, but we need all the other put more there. As we're about to start the show, man, I want to recognize the radio stations. As always, man, y'all, thank you for relaying DC 101. Thank you for relaying Class A FM out of Margibi County in Kakata. Radio Margibi is also present out of Kakata as well. Voice of Lufa. To our people in Lufa County, we say you're welcome. Peace FM out of Habel, Radio Kwatike out of Bangabon County. Ablige Radio, all the way in Grand Bassa County. Thank you for joining this conversation. Premier FM out of Bangabon County. Premier, we see you 102.3 is out of Asano County. Over here, we got Radio Gompa in Ganta City, Nima County. Radio Yalima out of Sekle PA. To our people in Sekle PA, man, we say you're welcome. Thank you for joining the conversation here. Top FM out of Zweju, Grangita County. Radio Sano way out there in Greenville in the southeast. I know you guys relay sometimes over 2 different counties. We say welcome Smile FM out of Zweju, Grangita County. Radio Butol all the way in Sano County. To our boys in the Gold Camp that are listening, we say you're welcome. You're welcome. Trust FM out of the mighty Bomi County. Thank you for joining the conversation here tonight. Punch FM out of Morovia, Bujo Radio. Also in Morovia. Let's continue to welcome everybody. Yo, thank you for always joining us. Liberia will go in front. Liberia must go in front. However, my Godful bow way the welcome put to the green. So that why I'm yelling at it for you know me. Y'all welcome to the show though. You enjoy ourselves a little bit.
Class Reloaded, the #1 online show that brings the truth. Showcasing J&B and JKK progress all across the country.
The Class Reloaded, we are online every day. Showcasing progress the Liberian way.
Well,
JMB and JKK, they're making the way. The Class Reloaded, we're shining today.
From Morovia City to the other counties, development talk shake the country. We talk the truth, we don't lie. The rescue mission making people smile. Roads getting better, schools better, electricity stable, no more hoping. We see the change, we see the light. Unity Party doing things right. Who talk the facts?
The Class Reloaded.
Who bring the vibe?
The Class Reloaded.
Support development.
The Class Reloaded.
Who better arise again?
Oh yes we can.
Who talk the facts?
The Class Reloaded.
Who bring the vibe?
The Class Reloaded.
Support development.
The Class Reloaded.
Who better arise again?
Oh yes we can. The Class Reloaded, we are online every day.
Every day.
Showcasing progress the Liberian way.
Well, JMB and JKK, they're making the way. The Class Reloaded, we shining today. Turn up the sound, let the people dance. Liberia progress, we get the chance. No fake news, we bring the proof. The Class Reloaded, always in the booth. From social media to the street corner, everybody talking about the new order. Respect to the hosts, they keeping it real. Liberia future, that's the deal. The Class Reloaded,
Truth.
Liberia rising,
Progress.
JMB and JKK,
Develop.
the rescue mission, we move soon.
The Class Reloaded.
True.
Liberia rising.
Progress.
JMB and JKK.
Develop, the rescue mission, we move soon.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I will do a little 2 minutes before I bring the guys on screen. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to welcome all you guys, Mr. Leslie Madison, Zoe Wilson. All you guys, welcome to the show. Look, I was reading an article today. I have a subscription to the Wall Street Journal. I've always kept that subscription for the last 20 years or so. And when I used to work, I would have my job paid for it. But when sometimes some jobs are not paid for it. But I was reading an article today, and it was talking about ownership here in America. We have about maybe $87 trillion in terms of venture capital in this country, maybe equity funds in the country, across the country. Majority of this is owned by Americans. And I was thinking about Liberia, and I was just running a simple number to think about Liberia. We have maybe close to $5 billion economy. This country have a massive economy, almost $29 trillion, much bigger than we are. But I was thinking about our own economy, approximately $5 billion economy. And I thought about the venture capital in Liberia, or perhaps the equity fund out of the country. We don't have an official stock exchange, but we do have venture capital being invested in the country. People are building stores. And I was thinking about what percentage of that we own that are making us money. Every society where the citizens themselves do not own anything, we will have absolutely no control. And I talk about Sinker, and I talk about Ray Light, and I talk about all the industrial centers, even downtown Ganta. What percentage that we own in Liberia? Do we own anything? Look, when I continue to talk about the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund, if we are truly going to effectuate a relatively high degree of influence in our country, we must have ownership. We own nothing. We control nothing. We can talk, we can scream, and we can talk about the transformation of Liberia. If we do not have money, the influence that we want to exert on the country, we may not have that influence in Bopolu City. I'm going to continue to say this as I look at other countries, especially this country, the $87 trillion of VC capital in this country, or equity funds in the country, or ownership of this society. Most people that live comfortably in this country have something, they own something that generates income for them, whether they are working or not. What are we generating in Liberia? What are we generating in my county that we own? Who owns Riverside County? I'm not talking about you get some land that is producing nothing for you. Look, I'm going to urge Liberian continuously, join the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund. We must go with one face because we are a poor people. When the Japanese were developing in the early stages, nobody had money. Nobody had money. You would get 5 or 7 people will put the money together and invest in peanut butter production. You will go into Ganta City, 10 men will come together, they take 1,000 and put it together, and they invest in cassava flour. We must create some form of clout in the country that can direct this country in the proper direction. The part of reducing corruption in the country, it is not what just the government does. It's what we are doing in the private sector to create an ironclad tightness that controls Liberia. Remember, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to bring the guys on screen. There are 5 basic things that the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund is trying to achieve. Number 1, we must make our shareholders money. That is primary. Number 2, we must create thousands of jobs across the country that we control. Number 3, we must build Liberian industry. We must control the industries of Liberia if we are going to own this country. Number 5, we must have economic influence, economic clout in our country wholeheartedly. I want to control Nima County. I want to control Lofa County. It must be entirely controlled by us. And number 5, we must get Liberian expertise back to the country so they can truly develop that country. But we cannot do this individually. It doesn't matter. If you can get some money and you can go into the country and do something individually, please do. But if we come together and we start competing with B Mountain, we start competing with Meta Steel, we start competing with the Seti Brothers, and we build Liberian industry and create local Liberian millionaires, we can truly transform this country, minimize corruption, create the kind of expertise that is going to transform this country. If you're looking to get information on the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund, you can call me directly at 774-578-1963, or you can visit our website, LiberiaDiasporaEquityFund.com. Join this push to build Liberian industry. I want to welcome all you guys, man, from everywhere. Thank you for joining us, Carl. I see you very early today, all zoot up. Welcome to the show, my brother Blair. Welcome. Cole, you stay in Liberia. Wetting here, you're here. What's going on with you? Welcome.
Oh, now me call laughing out.
You laugh at you get glasses.
So my cousin Josephus has a baby.
Oh,
Let me tell you the fun. Ligia is 2 years old and she can talk. She's so mouthy. Good thing about being like bro, you get to see all your family people that were born behind you. When you
yes.
left, they were not there. You come and they're there. So I picked her up. She just took to me. I don't know why. I think I'm scary. I should scare kids, but she hugged me. She sat on my lap. We gossip about her pa. So my mother and I were just sharing a joke about how funny and adorable she is. So anyway,
Yeah,
I just wanted to share that. But it's so good to
that's
be
pretty
home
cool.
and see all the family people.
Yeah,
It's
that's one of the biggest thing about being
that's the
home.
best part about being here. It's the
Yeah,
family people.
I agree.
Yeah.
Blair, what's going on with you? I watched the podcast today, man. You have a lot to say. Let me just mute Ibrahim for a second. Blair, I watched your podcast today, man. You had a lot to say. A lot is still happening in the country. The cartel are getting angry. They're being dismantled. They don't like it at all. But the Babina won't know.
First of all, the citizens say I should face the 1245, right?
Oh,
So we start
Look, I tired of your heart ready.
They have to begin to get looked at the new. We're trying to make it 12 o'clock sharp. So.
There you go. But they get faster than different, huh?
It's nice to be. You say?
They get faster than different now. When they 12:45 will be all the time.
12:45, 10:30, 10:45, 1:30.
They got to be there time.
Well, anyway, it's good to be here. It's good to be here today. I left the show early last night because I thought it would have been a jam-packed panel where people
That's what I meant to say.
a lot. So I decided right after my introductory statement to leave to be able to give way to, especially most of the old faces who have not been on the show for a very long time. I think would have been fair enough. But what is really hurting my mind is the faulty statement made by Councilor Arthur Johnson yesterday.
Yeah.
Considering the judge's investigation as illegal. Yeah. Now he contradicted himself a lot in that statement.
I don't care about
because the thing here is that it was legal because it was also sanctioned by the Supreme Court. So when the judge said he was going to investigate, the first thing they flew to the Supreme Court with a writ of prohibition to prohibit the judge from investigating. And the justice in chambers did agree that the judge should go ahead with the investigation. They didn't stay there. They flew to the full bench of the Supreme Court. And the full bench of the Supreme Court opined that the judge had every legal bounding to investigate the jury tampering. Now, what makes it more funny about Arthur Johnson is he said the investigation is illegal, but he sat in the room where the investigation took place. He even asked the jurors question. Now, just by you sitting under the garble or the voice or the jurisdiction of the judge, you consent to the investigation. If the investigation was legal, why did you sit in that room? Why did you ask the jurors question? So just by you going to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court giving the court and judge the legal jurisdiction to investigate the case alone gave the judge the legal rights to investigate the case. So, sometimes Arthur Johnson, I think it's out of frustration, okay? Arthur Johnson likes to act that he is the goat of Liberian legal practice. But if you really listen to the guy and you do not follow the jargons and all of the body movement and thing, and maybe sometimes the spell may carry you. But after the spell is gone and you regain consciousness, go back and listen. There are a lot of contradiction. But the last thing I will say in regards to that, Arthur Johnson may claim to be the biggest in the Liberian legal practice. The question that we ask him is, what review has he done with respect to laws that have been made in Liberia that conflict the constitution to come up with a journal. So Liberia must be able to learn. It's not just getting the quote-unquote PhD, but what are people learning from you? Councillor Mine, he may be older than Councillor Mine in the law, but what we've learned from this councillor within the limited frame of time that we sat with him on the platform, I think I have learned a lot from Councillor Mine. Then I would say I have learned from the quote-unquote PhD counselor. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Councillor Mount. Welcome to the show. Abraham, what's going on with you? What's on your mind regarding anything, my brother?
Sorry, seniority. Please put me down and carry Councillor Mount up.
Okay. Prayer request.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
All right.
There is the only thing that I have to talk about today, that is bothering me. It is our prison facility. There's a need that the Minister of Justice try to erect some new prison facility in our country. There's a need for that. And I understand that the country may be going through a lot, but there's a need that they either erect some new prison facility or they be able to fix some of these prison facilities that have been abandoned by the previous administrations. Because I am anticipating many of our comrades will have to go to prison. And the prison facility is already jam-packed. The prison facility is already jam-packed to the higher extent. So there's a need that the Minister of Justice see reasons to be able to erect some new prison facility. If the ministry is not able, you can be able to ask the Chinese government. You can be able to ask the Indian government. You can be able to ask the Kuwait government for them to be able to erect a new prison facility. That will indeed help to be able to, whether the new prison facility will be in Grand Jidel, whether it will be in Maryland, whether it will be in Sano. But there's a need for new prison facility. That's what I have on my mind today.
Thank you so much. I think we've been saying that for a while. Personally, it should be outside the capital. Let's turn our place into a park on South Beach area, into a city park. I would love
Let me ask a quick question. How do we know we need a new prison facility? Are they overcrowded?
Very overcrowded. It was not built for the current capacity that we have. Yeah.
So the prison is Wedru, is Bella Yala still operating?
No.
Hey, Bibra Amru said that Bella Yala no.
If that's what I'm really a prison, so to speak. Have you seen, if I will find some video for Bella Yala?
Bella Yala was cut with President Tubman on a punishment place. But I'm asking, I don't know if it's still open. I don't know much about prisons, so I'm just asking. Why I was laughing when Abraham was talking because I thought he was joking, but it looked like he's serious. So we'll open new prisons because more.
No, I'm serious though.
No, the other place there is a place for disease. Really, I don't know if you ever been to South Beach. You see the place.
Why would I go there? Even if I know somebody. Listen, let me tell you something. Even if I know you, they carry the South Beach. I'm going to leave you.
Okay, you know what, wrong? Visit the police station.
I'm going to visit you there. They carry South Beach. Now yo, bad luck. I'm not coming there. Just know.
Okay,
I love you, my family, my friend. Once they tell me say you go South Beach, I will not go there. I'm not coming to see you. I don't visit people in jail.
Okay, so they're not in jail. So go to any police station in
Liberia. Go to the hospital, I'll come see you.
Okay.
I will not go see you in jail.
Okay, go to any police station in Liberia. They smell from the jail hall. They can be on the road before you reach the police station. Go to any police station in Liberia. Disease infestation just being accumulated over there. So we got to do better.
You know what, Dwalo? I will go to a police station just for you.
Yeah, go there. You see, you will cry. So now what? My spare time.
I will not cry because everybody in jail in Liberia belongs in jail.
No, I mean I don't believe that one. I can go there because I don't let you my believe there.
You know, like to put somebody in jail, like they're too sympathetic.
It's not being sympathetic because some of the beginning of the thing in jail, so now $10 US, $5 US. I'm not going to print that also.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The people too sympathetic.
I can put print that also because now you pay, you put it at Kakata. You know, it's just a leisurely thing I love to do, but if all the jail and just smelly, horrible for human habitation.
Like when you go to South Beach, and when you go to South Beach, the people are overcrowded because when I paid a visit to Liberia quite recently, I visited South Beach. The place is overcrowded to the highest.
Yeah. Let's get rid of the council of mine. They did a lawyer there. Yeah, and China, they got a separate area for men, a separate area for women. I doubt they won't put men and women in the same place. It will not be easy. But council of mine, let's hear from you.
Yeah, let's have Councilor Ma come
So,
in. No, before Councilor Ma comes in, let me say something here. So I heard my brother Albert say that we've learned a lot from Councilor Ma, and this is very true. We've learned a lot from him. And he was saying that Arthur Johnson has been a lawyer longer or something like that. Well, the difference between Arthur Johnson and Ambrose, I don't think Arthur Johnson is stupid. I don't think he's a bad lawyer. I think he's a bad person. I think he's a bad human being. I think that So I think the problem, Albert, is that if Arthur Johnson was a decent human being, if he were a decent human being, he would put his education to better use. But I don't believe he is a good person. And I think the reason we learn from Ambrose is because Ambrose is sincere in his pursuit of knowledge and in what he shares with people and how he analyzes the law. It's with sincerity. He doesn't have ulterior motives. He's not trying to trick people or get over. There are some people that think lawyers are supposed to be certified liars. And I think that I just want to clarify that's the reason we're learning from Ambrose is because Ambrose is sincere in his practice and his understanding of law. And Arthur Johnson, in my opinion, based on how he has conducted himself in the public sphere and what I've observed, is not a good person. That's the difference. That's what I wanted to say. Go ahead, Ambrose.
Echo, why you let us? Anyway, let me just say good evening, good evening to all of you on the panel tonight. Because it's good to see you looking sharp today. Why? sharp today.
Like we're besides the traffic, like
with you. But let me also say, especially to all of our great people in Liberia and those in the diaspora for whom we come here. It's good to be here today, and I look forward to a very good show. The issue that is on my mind, I think, that I wanted to speak about, Tualu, is what Blair started to talk about, and I will indulge you all to, because it may take about 4 or 5 minutes of your time, to get into that particular issue. But Carl, the question you asked about the Monrovia Central Prison in the criminal justice system is true. It is far overcrowded. The Central Prison, when it was built, it was to take 380 persons. Now it has over 2,000 people. And so it is far overcrowded. And in the criminal justice system also, you're supposed to have a prison for remand prisoners and a prison for convicts. Because the remand prisoners are people who have not gone to court yet, but maybe they can't afford bail or the alleged crime is not bailable. So whilst they are waiting to go to court, hey, Mo. Mo,
we miss you, my man. We miss you.
So while they are waiting for the trial or everything, they're supposed to be in a separate prison. And then when you are convicted of a crime, you're supposed to be sent to a convict penitentiary. Unfortunately, everybody is bundled in one place, and it's far overcrowded. But what is worse about the prison system is that the number of convicts are far less than the number of people on remand. So the number of people who didn't go to court yet, who haven't had a day in court, they are far more in the prison than the people who are real convicts. And Bella Yala is not open. It is not. I don't think it's ever going to be reopened. Bella Yala can even take more than 10 people. I was privileged to have seen it a couple of times and went there with President Sirleaf for the first time. She went to Bella Yala, and as you say, it was in the middle of the jungle. So thought man, you had that thing as real punishment for the people to carry a helicopter, to put you down there and they forget, but you can't even find a way in that jungle. So that was what it was. But Dwalu, so I don't know. But you know, it is this issue that, you know, since the judge made a decision on the jury tampering issue and misconduct yesterday, there have been a couple of debates from us lawyers, and I've read a couple of them, and I've heard what my senior counsel said, and the truth is that it is good for lawyers to engage in these kinds of debates because they serve as a learning platform for everybody. And then also what happens is that it enhances our jurisprudence, because if the lawyers don't agree, eventually it gets to the Supreme Court, the court makes a determination, and then everybody learns. So this exercise is not to show that one lawyer knows more than the other person or the other person is better. But I must say here that I have great respect for my learner counsels. I read an article also from the senior lawyer, Councillor Sema Sarena Cephas, who shares the similar view as Councillor Arthur Johnson in that matter. And these are my senior lawyers in the practice, and I have a great deal of respect for them. But I've come to disagree. I haven't said, because Councillor Johnson said he challenged any lawyer to show any precedent. And what they're saying is that it has never happened in Liberian case history or in this republic, in our jurisdiction, in our jurisprudence, where a jury has rendered a decision and has been disbanded, and where the jury decision is called back to check. It has never happened before, especially when there are issues of jury tampering and or jury misconduct. And in fact, Johnson further went to say that it doesn't even happen in the United States of America. That he had proffered one case from the U.S. Supreme Court that says if that happens, then it is against the Constitution, so that can never happen. First, let me start with Liberia. I think that is not factually correct.
Honorable man, before you go on, can we play 30 seconds of what Arthur Johnson said to give context to what you're about to say before you explain? All right.
The law that the judge cited, there have been nowhere where after the jurors have been disbanded, I'm not saying where the verdict comes out and they are not disbanded, but where the jurors have come with a verdict and they have been disbanded, meaning the court has no jurisdiction on you, and the term of court has ended. That judge has no legal authority to call that jury back to question them on allegations of how they voted and why they voted the way they voted. It had never happened in our law, in our system. I challenge any lawyer or any legal practitioner to show that. That's one. Two, the law that we are talking about, the issue that have just unfolded today, this is the first time it happened in our jurisdiction. How? The first time in our country where a verdict have been returned. The jurors have been disbanded and they are going into their communities. And then for the judge to hear an investigation, a complaint after the court have been disbanded, and say that he has jurisdiction to return the verdict, to overturn the verdict, they are now happy. The only country that we have copied from that it has happened, that has spoken on that kind of issue, is the American jurisprudence. Our petition is that the American jurisprudence says that if the jury have been disbanded, any attempt to call them back, listen to it, there is a difference between jury returning a verdict that they are not disbanded, they still under the jurisdiction of the court, and the jury returning a verdict where they have been disbanded, like the Samuel Twist case. The U.S. Supreme Court that we copied from under the doctrine of stare decisis says any attempt to do that, to call a juror back from the community, told the court to question them about allegation of jurisdiction or misunderstanding or what happened how they voted, they say it is unconstitutional.
I'm going to stop right there and give you the platform because there's a
Wait.
case. Go ahead.
Before you come in, let me ask Counsel a question. So is he saying, because I want to understand what he's saying before Counsel comes in to correct him, which I know he will. Is he saying that precedent cannot be set? Is his argument that Liberia does not have the authority to set precedent, that only America must set precedent for us to follow? I don't understand what's happening here. Because I remember you, Ambrose, very thoroughly explaining that things that never happened before will happen, right?
Of course.
Because you said that we have the autonomy and the authority as a country, and our lawyers have the mind to be able to make decisions. So please break it down for those of us who, want to understand.
Take enough time, Councilor.
What is
so
important.
Indeed, when there is a novelty, when there is a new thing that we have not heard before, the Supreme Court can set it and set a precedent. All right. And the Supreme Court, and then that could be the first case and can be a precedent. All right. So, like I said earlier on, that in our practice, in our criminal procedure practice and in our criminal procedure law, the state does not take appeal. So when the state takes somebody to court and the juror says the person is not guilty, the case ends right there. You can't take appeal. And I have argued against that. And I said that I wish one day the state takes an appeal, and that will be the first time it will go to the Supreme Court so that a precedent can be set. When the Supreme Court says no, you cannot take an appeal, then we know now that it is grounded in our law. Or if you make the argument, the Supreme Court says, yes, that party has a right to appeal, because I believe that party has a right to appeal by our Constitution, then it becomes a precedent case that now the person can take appeal. I mean, the state can take appeal. So the precedent case can be set. But in this particular case, the counselors are arguing that it has never happened before in Liberia. So in as much that if it has never happened, it doesn't mean it can't happen. But I'm trying to say that no, it has happened in Liberia, in our jurisprudence and in American jurisprudence. And that's why I was going to go for the cases in which it has happened. So back in 1973, there's a case in our law 22 LLR. The LLR is the Liberian Law Report. So we'll say volume 22 of the Liberian Law Report on page 310. So there's a case called Macaulay v. Doe. Macaulay versus Doe. That case is a civil case. It was a land case. The jurors, after finished sitting, and first when they say the jurors have been disbanded and they say the service are over, it means that after the jurors have heard the case, they come with a verdict, either guilty or not guilty. In the civil case, they will say liable or not liable. They can't use guilty in civil matter, but for the understanding of our people, they say guilty or not guilty. When they say that, the judge said that your verdict is, they say yes. They say that all your verdict is, they say yes. Then tell the clerk, okay, record that verdict. When they record that verdict, then the judge say, okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we thank you for your service. The jury now is dismissed. Thank you for your service. And then then the jury is disbanded. When they move from that jury box and they walk out, when the judge said that, then that means the jury has been disbanded. So in this particular case, the jury came down with a verdict. The verdict was recorded by the judge. And the judge thanked the jurors and disbanded the jurors and said, thank you. The jury now is dismissed. It's disbanded. You can go. While the jurors were going outside of the court, the jurors started celebrating with the person who won the case. So the lawyer for the person who lost the case said, but while the jurors were celebrating, something went wrong. But the commotion, the noise was too much in the court, the lawyer didn't He didn't come to the judge. He didn't tell the judge, say, oh, jury tampering. He didn't come to complain. He didn't do anything. He filed an appeal to the Supreme Court. In his brief, and the brief is the argument that you write before the court as to why you think your case, you should win your case. Because in the court, they say, talking in front of the court, that only the court can decide. So now the court won't hear you, but your argument must be written. So in a brief, while the Supreme Court was reviewing that case, and that was years after, because the case takes some time in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court saw in the brief that particular line that the lawyer say even after the case, the jurors, while they were leaving the court, they started celebrating. In fact, the person who won the case joined them, and that person even made a statement, said that person came from Biafra, then she wanted my land and all kind of thing. And they saw it in the brief, so they asked the judge. I mean, the lawyer said, did this happen in the court downstairs? He said, yes. They said, but why didn't you put it on the court record? He said, oh, but the people were celebrating, the court was noisy, everybody was doing, so I couldn't put it there. They asked the other lawyer, he said, did this happen in the court? He said, yes. The Supreme Court then, based on that, overturned that whole jury verdict and said that the conduct of the jurors, and the Supreme Court put it now in what we call the syllabus, because the syllabus become a law issue. So the syllabus number 4 in that particular case, the Supreme say any behavior of the jury during and immediately after service. So during service is while you are still sitting as a juror. After service is when your service is ended. Any behavior which can be regarded as prejudicial or reflecting prejudice against a losing party is a proper ground for a new trial.
It's in our law.
It is in the law. It is in case law in Liberia.
Okay.
Macaulay v. Doe.
Okay.
And that at that time the juror has already been disbanded.
Correct.
But they were leaving, going, and they started celebrating. 30-something years after, in 2004, another criminal case happened in Liberia. The Supreme Court reminded the judge, because when the juror handed down a guilty verdict, the judge thanked the jurors and was about to disband the jurors. Then the lawyer said, but I got information that the jurors were tampered with. The judge said, well, we've finished taking the jury verdict. I've already thanked the jurors. And so it is done. I can't do anything. File a motion for new trial. When the lawyer filed the motion, he denied the motion. The lawyer filed an appeal. When it went to the Supreme Court said the fact that, and the Supreme Court repeated the 1973 law that they passed.
This is 2023 now. 2003 now.
Yes, in 2004. In a case called Fangi versus the Republic of Liberia. It's 42 LLR 74 in 2004. The Supreme Court came back. In fact, the Supreme Court said the Supreme Court itself will reward a new trial where the trial jury has returned a verdict in a party's favor and it has been disbanded. When that jury has returned a verdict and has been disbanded, but it comes to the attention that they were doing actions or celebrating or doing things immediately after the service, and the Supreme Court in this one used disbanded. Even when the jury is disbanded, they order a new trial. And they said that judge should have investigated that jury tampering allegation, and the judge should have ordered a new trial. So the Supreme Court ordered a new trial.
Okay.
So to say that it has never happened in our jurisdiction, it is not factually correct. You understand? And the language of the court becomes the precedence of the law. What we call stare decisis, it becomes case law. So the Supreme Court said, even if the jury is disbanded, maybe the question you could ask is, okay, what will be reasonably called immediately after their service?
Correct.
Could it be 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 day, 2 days? That is a different argument. But to say that where the jury has been disbanded, it has never been that the Supreme Court has said it should investigate a matter that comes. It is not true, because the Supreme Court has said it in that case that even if the jury is disbanded.
That's
and the matter
2004.
comes. So then I come to the U.S. thing, and Dwalu spoke about that case just before starting the program. The case of the great and now the notorious South Carolina lawyer, Alex Murdoch. Alex Murdoch was a very rich, powerful lawyer, but he was disgraced because he had too many criminal things. One of which was that he was accused of murdering his wife and his son. And he was taken to court. For 6 weeks, that trial was on. Jurors were sitting there. In March of 2023, the exact date was the second day of March 2023, the jury brought a verdict of guilty against Alex Murdoch. Say he was guilty of the crime. Murdoch did not complain about jury tampering. He did not say anything. He only filed an appeal against the verdict to the appeal court in South Carolina. But 7 months after,
7 months.
7 months after, I mean, the jury has been disbanded, they gone, everything. So why his appeal was pending? Because you know when you file appeal, it can take some years before the court hear the appeal. It will be there. So why it was pending? 7 months after, in October of 2023, exactly October 27th, Murdoch filed a petition to the appeals court and said, look, I'm petitioning for a new trial because I got information that the jurors were tampered with by the clerk of the court. So the verdict they gave was not the independent verdict. And the same way, like in our case, he attached affidavits of some of the jurors who said probably they would not have voted the way they voted, but the woman had some influence on them. The appeals court judge, the chief judge, said, okay, we'll put the appeal on pause, and appointed one former chief justice of the Supreme Court of South Carolina to set up a committee, set up a special court to investigate those jurors. Because the judge then say, send the man talking anything, and I'm a clerk, I recuse myself. So they set up a special court to investigate those jurors. They brought all those jurors back 7 months after.
7 months.
They investigated all of them, including the clerk. The Court of Appeal and that special court that was set up, they came up and said, yes, the woman thought something, she influenced the people, she did certain things, but they didn't see it with the magnitude at which they were going to influence them, so the man didn't have a case. So there was no jury tampering. He appealed that one and went straight to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court overturned that and said there was jury tampering for the fact that she influenced the jurors. They must go for a whole new trial. So if you say in the United States it doesn't happen, it is also not true. So the Supreme Court of South, and maybe the argument you will make and say, oh, but when they're talking about the Supreme Court, they're talking about the federal Supreme Court. That argument still will not hold, because if the federal Supreme Court of the United States makes a determination on a particular matter that wherever you call a jury back is against the Constitution, no other court will do that. It will become the law in the United States. So it binds all the states, because the federal will say something that will bind the entire country. But in this case, and this new Supreme Court ruling was just this year in May, that the Supreme Court looked at it and said, no, there was jury tampering. But the point I'm making was that 7 months after those jurors went to the community, they called all of them back to investigate them. So when my colleagues come, I mean, you can make the argument about what is reasonable time, what is the and you say the judge has lost jurisdiction. The judge had not lost jurisdiction of the case. The case was still before the judge, because there were other people who were found guilty and they have filed a motion. In fact, it is important to note in our practice, every term of court, it is 42 days for jury sitting. 42 days. But when you are in the case, like in this particular case, there are many times that the 42 days can be reaching and the case can go in any.
That's right.
So the judge will write to the Chief Justice to extend the time, which was what happened in this case. So they extended the time. And I think the jury sat for 58 days or so. On the day the jurors handed down that verdict, it was 3 days to the opening of the new term. They handed the verdict on Friday. On Monday, the new term opened. But because that verdict came down, and there were some people who were found guilty, and they have filed, because you have 4 days to file for a new trial, they file a motion. That means the judge was still seized with that case. So normally the chief justice will remain that judge in that court because he has to end that case, because the other people have filed a motion for new trial.
That's right.
He had to hear that motion. If he denies that motion, then he will issue his final ruling. Then they can take appeal to the Supreme Court. So all that time, the case is still with the judge. So the judge has not lost jurisdiction of the case. 8 days after they sent their verdict, 8 days after, these affidavits came from these 3 jurors that said, look, the thing we did in that jury room was wrong.
8 days, not 7 months. 8 days.
8 days after.
Yeah, 1 week, basically.
Maybe the argument can be, is that immediately after their service, will a reasonable man say, no, but it was too late? Or will somebody say, yeah, but it was within the time? But to say that the judge has lost jurisdiction and the term has ended, yes, but the judge has not lost jurisdiction over that case because he was still sitting on that case, because there were others who were convicted. He had post-trial motions before him on that same case. Right. And those same jurors determined the fate of those people who were sitting before the judge already. So the judge still had that verdict in front of him that said those people were guilty. So the judge had every legal right, in my mind, to have entertained and investigated that matter. And that is why I believe that when they went up to the Supreme Court first time, they didn't get a writ to stop that matter. So to come back, say it hasn't happened in our country before, it hasn't happened in the United States of America. The United States of America owned a recent case in this year, 2026 May. If you go there, you can read it. Alex Murdoch, the lawyer, and the overturn was better for jury manipulation. That's just what I wanted to say to clear this. But again, as I said, they have the option to go to the Supreme Court, and all of us are lawyers. We're all learning. The Supreme Court may make that final decision. But I think to outrightly say that this has never happened in our jurisprudence in Liberia, never has it happened in America. America, 7 months after they called all the jurors back for investigation. 7 months had elapsed. And that's just what I wanted to put on.
Councilor Man, we'll stick with you because I want to ask you a few questions because we have some legal questions, right? So as a standard, as normal in Liberia, when the process of adjudication is happening, court case going on, and if it is noticed under our law, I'm asking because I don't know this, if something is done illegally to arrive at a point, as a standard, that process could be challenged, correct?
Correct.
So let me rephrase it this way. If Dwalu is found guilty in a case and the accumulation of evidence against Dwalu was done in a fraudulent way by the police, that is ground for an appeal or reversal. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's fair to say.
So under our law, if the process is tainted in some fashion that does not reflect the standard that is set by law, the person who is being convicted can challenge that.
Yeah, you can challenge that because either you can bring it to the court attention while the trial is on, or after the trial, you can even move for a motion for new trial because those new information have come to you that either the evidence they gathered it illegally or something they did that was wrong or something. You can bring it to the attention of the court. Yes, you can.
So I'll lay that basis, and I want to ask you this question now. So that means the case in question that we are talking about, the Samuel Twe case, this is normal practice when a process it appears or there is evidence to prove that it did not go through the normal process. This is normal for the court to step in and say, let's address it properly.
Yes, that's what I said. And that's what the Supreme Court has said. You know, jury tampering and jury misconduct are two different things. They're not the same.
Yeah.
Jury misconduct is when the jurors on their own misconduct themselves. For example, they disobey the rules that were given to them by the court. For example, one of the rules for jurors is that no telephones go into the jury room. No telephone. That's one of the rules. All right. The judge, the other rule is that no matter how long you're hearing the case, when you go back to your jury place, you don't discuss the matter. You can discuss the case. You can go back after every day and say, "My man, today the other witness, you enjoying or you're not enjoying." You can discuss the case while you're there. That's another rule.
And
so they have,
misconduct.
yeah. So they have different rules. If it comes to the attention of the court that these jurors disobey some of these rules, those are misconduct.
Yeah. Okay.
And once it is proven those misconduct, you can disband the jury and cancel and call for a new trial. Jury tampering is where there is mostly an external influence, either external or internal also, because jury tampering can be also internal. There could be somebody planted there who considers certain things, information. Maybe he has a bias, but he didn't tell the court. And as I said, the court also calls, if the lawyers don't know, but you're the person who's sitting there, you know that they are prosecuting me and you my brother or you my somebody, and you know that we have that relationship. You could intentionally sit on that jury and go in there and try to influence. That's tampering with the rest of the other people.
Okay, like Runaway Jury, the movie. And you see the movie Runaway. Okay.
So the jury tampering is an undue influence on the jurors.
Correct.
All right. So you could either have one or the other, or you could have both. And that is why in this particular case, the judge determined that there is likelihood of both. First, he talked about the misconduct, but because of the incessant phone calls that were coming into the jurors from the call log, he suspects that they were influenced from outside. That's why he asked the Ministry of Justice to also investigate all the numbers that were calling the jurors, to see who were calling the jurors, and to also find them, investigate them, and if possible, prosecute them. So yes, once those matters come before the judge, whilst the case is still before the judge has a duty. And they say while the case is still before the judge. And I have argued that this particular case has never left the jurisdiction of the judge. Even though the term had ended and it got into a new term, but the case was still before the judge because he still had post-trial motions that he was about to hear, and he had not made his final ruling, and they are not taking appeal and going to the Supreme Court. So the case was still before the judge.
Thank you, Mo. Have you got any question for the counselor? I know you guys coming. We have not given you a chance, but counselor, thank you for this explanation. And I'm glad the entire country is listening. Go ahead,
I
Mo.
have a question. Good evening, everyone. And I know before we start other things, we got to get this one off our back. It's a very, very serious issue. And if we don't provide the clarification, the lies will just go. Counsel, assuming that a case is done and somebody, for example, is convicted, or nobody is convicted, somebody is set free, but a crime was committed against the state, and then we go 2-3 years, then we find out that the person who committed the crime, who was being tried, actually tampered with the juror to get the case in their favor. Isn't that a cause for investigation? Doesn't it warrant investigation? Does case always should have precedent that if it didn't happen in the past and the circumstances now present itself, that the precedent should be set?
You know, Mo, and that is why the courts will always say, even the U.S. Supreme Court will always say that, you know, the trial must have a full semblance of fairness. It must be fair to every party. All right. So if for Liberia, as the system is, if you are, let's say the person is acquitted and the state just leave it and it goes, and you do nothing, the case is done. The case is done. If it comes after many years or after a few months and they realize that this has happened, that caused this to happen in the case, as I said, there can always be a novel thing. Somebody could file something, it will be a test. They will come back and say, no, this is double jeopardy because the case is ended, so we cannot go into it. The argument could be that, no, we have found that there was some manifest mishap There were serious things that were done to thwart justice in this particular instance. And so, in the course of justice, we need to reopen this case and litigate. It will enter the Supreme Court. It will be the court that will determine. And based on the arguments of those two parties, the court will decide that, look, for the sake of, you see, and that's the argument I've been making. The Article 11C of our Constitution says that all persons are equal under the law. All persons. So, you know, the notion we have in our Liberian criminal justice system, which our laws have tailored towards, is that the state is more powerful. So they make the state at a disadvantage. But we forget to know that the state is not just some kind of animal or some kind of object sitting there somewhere. The state that we, the people, you know, the politician will say the social contract theory. So we surrounded some of our rights, the state to give us protection. So if I am harmed criminally, I cannot go to court on my own. It is the state that will go to court for me. Likewise you, likewise everybody else. So I become a party, and the person who are accused of harming me is another party. So the justice cannot be one-sided to say it's only for that person. So when that person is found guilty, that person is certified and go to the Supreme Court. But me who am hurt, or maybe my minor child was raped, and I'm feeling that hurt. And then you say, if they go there and you see that the entire jury of people, because they let me, they say the man free, and I'm satisfied, I can't go to the Supreme Court. It is not fair. It's not justice. Justice is not once, the wheel of the scale of justice doesn't tilt only to one side. And that's my argument. So I said that because of that, every time the Liberian government goes to criminal case and they say the people not guilty and they set them free, they say the case end. The government doesn't take appeal. So I said, no, we must try this system here. Let's go and make the argument to our Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court finally make a determination, because I don't believe it is double jeopardy, because the case, once an appeal is taken, the case has not ended. It is only ended when the Supreme Court makes the final decision. So more, until we do those things and try and keep trying our justice system, we will not get to it. We will not get to it. Many people, and as I said, there are certain things we do in the law, we do the practice, but not necessarily right. But we've just been doing it for a long time and nobody has challenged it. So we need to start challenging some of these things. And that's why I said that I believe the state has a right to appeal. And because why insist on if you sue the state for taking your land, and if people say no, the government they learn out for you, for the mayor, the government certified they can go appeal. So why in criminal matter when they certified they can go appeal? And some of the private people, they got money, they can take better lawyer than the state. That's some of the people, the money they can take, the lawyers they can hire, the state didn't even want to afford those lawyers. They got bad. You know, America here, for example, you get some criminal men,
all the agency
lawyer they can get, the BB lawyer they can get. The state ain't got the money to take those lawyers. So you can't say the state is at an advantage. No, I don't believe so. But more until we try these things and test them in our legal system, I don't believe we get to. And that is why I said, and Carl always remind me, I said that this particular case, it may bring some new things. It may go up there, but we always get to learn it and we get to the end of it until the Supreme Court, which is the fat lady, until she sings, we're still in it.
Okay, guys, before we go to the next topic, anyone you guys got any question for Councilor Ma for additional clarity? Think Liberian people, Councilor Ma, they posted more found money to pay you because we are getting 2 minute free legal advice.
Yeah, I want to ask Councilor Ma a question.
Yes.
Just with respect to what I was talking about, that he deemed the investigation of the judge illegal, but he sat in a scene investigation. He asked the jury a question by he sitting there, observing and asking, is it a legal consent that he gave to that investigation?
You know, the lawyer's argument is that jurisdiction is not conferred on the court by the parties, it's by law. But the judge, in his ruling, cited many cases and said that he still has jurisdiction. And I have argued that the judge still has jurisdiction over the case because the case has not left the judge. But the fact that you go and you consent, and in fact, certain time in the Supreme Court, so now you suffer, they call it waiver and latches. They say you suffer waiver and latches. If you know certain thing was wrong and the judge proceeded wrong way, you won't go up to the Supreme Court to stop it, or you won't protest it. You go ahead, you suffer waiver and latches. That's what they do tell you. They say you suffer waiver and latches. The time you were supposed to do it, why you don't do it? All right. So if you felt that the judge did not have any jurisdiction over this matter, you went to the Chambers Justice. And you see, I think our lawyers were not being fair to us. All of us, I at least, I have gone sat before Chamber Justices in conferences for cases before the Supreme Court. As I was working there, I was allowed to practice. So when you file a matter before the justice, when the justice read a brief and call for conference, most often than not, the justice will look at the parties and tell us, say, look, Councilor Man, you brought this issue, say this. Let me give you a typical example of what there was a case I had against one of the institutions, autonomous institutions of government, and we sued them. And they brought the Ministry of Justice in, they tried to thwart the case and do, but they failed all along. So we're going in the case now. Then Ministry of Justice said, okay, we want come to be party to the case. The government of Liberia want to join the case here, so we can be defendant to the case too. So I said, no, this is an autonomous, independent institution of government. They can sue and be sued. So you can't join. So they went to the Chambers Justice. So the Chambers Justice called us to the Chambers and said, look, I've read these things. Why you say the person will not join? Why is he want join? So he said, look, Councilor, and are you suing the people? Is there for damages? If the government can't say, and the money, and at the meantime you get more your money. So what a problem? In fact, I'm inclined to issue the rate because then the government can't say if they want to come inside, so I will issue the rate. Unless you people, so I say, okay, then don't issue the rate, because if you issue the rate, that means we're coming to we'll go way up to Supreme Court, will stay long. So I agree, let them come inside. Then you say your sign is stipulation. So we agree, okay, government can join. So the government join, eventually we'll still be there at the Supreme Court. But the point I'm making is that when you go to the Chambers Justice, they will tell you most likely that, look, we are inclined to issue the rate here. You remember the Yage Koluba thing one time when he was suspended and he was not paid, and he went to the Supreme Court. In the conference, the Chief Justice said, no, the due process was not followed. So y'all go and handle it because we are inclined to issue the rate. So they say, okay, we'll go back, we'll draw the thing here, we'll pay the man money, and this and that. So you will know where the court will be going. So for my learned counsel to say, the judge only say, y'all go, let the parties, they agree that all the parties be a part of the investigation, but still the main guy jurisdiction over the matter. The justice can make that kind of decision. He can say that. If the justice knew that the judge didn't have jurisdiction, he was going to issue the rate and tell us, say, you argue before me. Then when he gave a ruling, they'll go to the Supreme Court. But because I believe the justice said no, the judge can do this. The only thing is that the judge cannot exclude you, because when the judge started first, it was only he and the jurors. He put all the parties outside. The justice said everybody be part of the investigation. That is the consent they signed. Okay, we'll go back down and everybody will be part of the investigation. No problem. They'll go sit and let the judge do the work. So for you to come back now and say, yeah, we signed that thing.
Here's my next question. Just that not question said that. Yeah, that question. So you agree with the justice?
Yeah. That the judge should go ahead.
That the judge should go ahead.
Yeah.
But that the judge said, oh, I want to do it. No, not with them.
Yes.
The justice said, no, you got to do it with them.
With all of them. So everybody signing that you do everybody. Yeah.
So everybody agree now that, yeah, we're going to do the investigation, but everyone will be involved with it, right?
Yes.
Then you come back from there now, you can't say, no.
But even the judge said they didn't have the right to do it. I will say that one again.
They didn't have the right to do it. Why didn't make that argument earlier? Or you made the argument and the justice said, no, the judge has the right to do it.
But you made that argument because that was the argument you took to the justice. That was the argument you That's the argument, the same argument that Councillor Johnson is making today. That same argument to the justice in Chambers, that the judge doesn't have jurisdiction over this matter.
Yeah,
so
they
agree. They agree that the judge has jurisdiction. The judge will go and the judge will hear the matter. If he hear the matter, they come out with the same argument again.
Thank you.
So I understand.
Thank you, Councillor Man. We had the Justice Minister speak today over at Mika. I just got to put a summation up here. Some of his finding and summation I will explain today. I want to try. This is very small. I should have gotten it very big. So there are two of them, and I just want for all to jump into this drug issue that was released today. The government of Liberia says the criminal network linked to the record drug seizure in Douazon, Magibi County, has been operating in the country for more than 6 years. Justice Minister and Attorney General Oswald Twe announced that authorities seized 3,927 kilograms of processed cocaine value at approximately $317 million, describing it as the largest drug bust in Liberia's history. Two foreign nationals, a Serbian and a dual Colombian Spanish citizen, has been arrested and are assisting investigator. The Joint Security also confiscated diving suits, a firearm, GPS tracking device, a drone, and other equipment. The government said the property and vehicle allegedly used by the cartel will be forfeited under the Abandoned Drug Act of 2023. In addition, property belonging to Paul King linked to the separate $19 million drug case will also be forfeited. Minister Twe urged Liberians to report suspicious wealth and lifestyle that appear inconsistent with legitimate sources of income. A security agency intensified efforts to dismantle drug trafficking network across the country. That is the first portion. And the second portion here said to the suspected narcotic investigators recover several items, including relevant blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now there's the thing that Councillor Man, I know more going in the back, but let me start with you, Blair. That Councillor Man catch his breath because he's ready to explain a lot here. They recover drones, diving suits.
So just 1 minute before we come to this one, somebody just asked a very important question about Fina.
Go
Why
ahead.
was she released from prison
Yes, answer that.
without filing bond? Fina lawyers filed a writ to the Supreme Court, the Chambers Justice. They said that the judge was wrong to have incarcerated her. The judge was supposed to give her 72 hours again to file the proper bond. He never did so. And the bond amount was too heavy, and the judge set for $8 million. So they filed a writ. Now, the normal practice is that when you file a writ to the justice will write to the court and say everything should return to what they call status quo ante. I mean, go back to where you were before you made a decision. Then the judge will call the justice will call a conference of the parties, and after that conference, you make a determination. The justice will either decide that he will issue that rate and ask them to file their legal papers so that they can argue and they'll reach all the way up to the Supreme Court, or the justice will decline to issue that rate. If he sees that there is no merit in the rate, he will decline. And once he declines, he will go back to the judge and tell the judge to take jurisdiction. Then the judge will do again. So right now, Fina had to be removed from prison because the justice have ordered that they return to status quo ante. You can tell all parties to return to status quo ante until the justice can look at the matter. So that's why she was taken out of prison today.
Yeah, and that's a total clarity. It doesn't mean she's gone. So if they go back and they determine, she can go back to jail.
When the justice determine whatever it is, it will come. Yeah.
It will go back to jail. So now we know this. I'm going to start with you, Blair. Let's do this. They recovered diving suits. If you guys remember yesterday, I think it was Honorable Semuka did mention here in America, the cartel used the bottom of ships. They attached the drugs to the bottom of ship. Then they have divers that go there to take the drugs from out of there. So let's say Crew Kingdoms in Tano County, for example, could be assisting. Is it my okay? Small thing, go pick out what bed in. They recover drones. They recover firearms. They recover all the accessories needed to facilitate the importation of drugs in the country. So necessarily, Blair, It could not be coming through the airports or even through the border point. They could be using the waterways. Now, the government also said the properties associated with the drug bust is going to be confiscated. So what the government is doing is trying to dismantle the cartel. Remember now, according to the investigation so far, these guys been operating for the last 6 years. That means squarely they came under President Weah administration. Blair, your take.
Daru, the fact here is that under the Weah's administration, there was no active LDEA. So it is quite understandable that there was no fight against drugs, because Liberia was the transit point for international drug cartel to be able to ship that contrabands to Liberia. And that is why you see that whenever they brought it through the seaport, it was easy to move out of Liberia through the airport, because they were the same security people who were giving the instruction to those at the scanning area and all of the facilities at the airport to allow those things to pass. But you are right, Dualu. These things, because sometimes the port is really busy, these things may come on the ship. And then what they do, like you said, those fountain boats, they use them almost near the shores, offload them on the fountain boats, and bring them. Those are the things that were happening, because it is very possible that other people may have will suspect these kind of things at the port, and they will come out with it, and everything was going to be exposed at the time. So the government is right. Any illegal inheritance or purchase of property using illegal money have to be confiscated. It happens in every country around the world. And the thing is that I think Liberia, the FIU, the Financial Intelligence Unit, supposed to begin to work in collaboration with the Central Bank of Liberia.
That's what they're saying now.
That is why the Central Bank of Liberia has oversight to be able to monitor all of the banks and mandate all of the banks to have to put a spyware on all of the accounts where illegal movement of money is coming into accounts, especially in the names of people, and it appears unusual. These are not registered businesses. They must be able to alert the central bank. The central bank must be able to alert the FIU, or the banks alert the FIU. FIU carry on investigation. That's how it's supposed to be in this country. If something about $10,000 just get in your account, forget it. Federal police will be at your doorsteps, especially with the kind of a work that you do. You will have to account where is this money coming from? Why is this money? Up to the extent that even at the money transfer level, MoneyGram, Western Union, when they see that you are receiving money, let's say this month, you receive this money. Next month, you receive the next time you go look, when you go to the transfer area, it has happened to so many people who are making business here in Belgium that I know. They put red alert on the money. They will have to investigate you before they release it. So it is rather good that the government is confiscating those property. And lifestyle order should begin. We've spoken about lifestyle order for quite a very long time. It's not just restricted to the George Weah's administration, so everybody has to know that. Yeah. So if President Boakai appointed you in this government, okay, and you were wearing some bus trousers, some bus shoes along the way, and you are appointed in this government, and all of a sudden, your whole lifestyle has changed. You are building mansions, you are building flats all around the place. That is what this government is talking about. Then it goes back to the George Weah administration. If you knew people of that kind, report it to the Justice Ministry. And I think this thing will serve as a deterrent. That when people go into government, you are going to serve, or you're not going to loot the people's money.
Thank you, Blair. Thank you. Abraham, let me come to you before I go upstairs to Mo and call. The issue here now, the government is instructing the Liberian public that if anybody in your community, even they don't have to be in government, but anybody in the community where they're not working anywhere, but they're driving home or they're driving BB car, it doesn't mean they're guilty, but the government wants you now to report this because they're casting a water net, right? They're saying, listen, we have to look at lifestyle audit, like what Blair just mentioned. We have to determine where you're getting money from. We know people are bringing drugs into this country, and we have to investigate. Is there anything wrong with that? People will still claim to that wish on, but this is done everywhere globally. How do you respond to that, Ibrahim? On mute.
Donald, this is done everywhere that I have been, everywhere around the world. But first and foremost is that are security on security. If you see something in your environment, you need to report it. If you hear something, you need to report it. If your eyes see something, you need to report it. This garden was living in the right behind Nathaniel Follow my gay house.
The man released a statement.
Oh yeah.
The man say in the air hole.
Right behind Nathaniel Follow my gay house. So the garden was living there, not just. So let me say this. The Colombian embassy came into the country 2017 to 2018. The same consulate opened a cold storage within our same years. The same consulate cold storage, there was certain thing brought into the country. They said that it was drugs. The message, they don't know nothing about it, but it was the 100 million drugs. Now, this guy has just been arrested. The guy is a Colombian. What does that say to all of us?
No. Factually, that 100 million drugs didn't come through that coast area. Not a particular coast area.
Not that one, the coast area. Go ahead.
Okay.
We're not our two brothers.
Okay. Granted. I take my word back.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say here is that the Colombian embassy, the Colombian consulate came into the country 2017 to 2018. The Colombian embassy opened the Colombian consulate opened a cold storage. Now, that guy that just been arrested, the guy is a Colombian.
Spanish Colombian, right? Yeah.
So that means that the guy that have been living in our neighborhood for 6 good years, and there have not been no one that have been able to report it. There have been nobody that have been able to call the police for them to be able to report it. I shouldn't believe that is a good way for us to be able to go. Because when you see something featured in your community or your neighborhood, it is appropriate. It is good enough for all of us, for us to be able to serve as a civilians for the government. Because when we don't do that, we'll be putting our children, our grandchildren at risk. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, Mo Ali, let me come up to you, because this thing that sometimes we do in the country, and I want to be meticulous on this issue. Everybody want the drug to leave Liberia. People were saying this government is condoning this, but we all know different now that the government is aggressively fighting against drugs. But there are some people in the country now that are getting very, very angry as the cartel is being dismantled in our republic. Yeah, somebody asked me here who owns the property. According to the justice minister, who won Paul King, then they say he's going to forfeit that property. Now you have a responsibility. If you lease to somebody to handle, make sure you investigate this. In fact, the kind of drugs that were coming out of this place, I just want to play 30 seconds more before you answer. Confiscation. If they were going to fight this cartel, the government is doing exactly everything that President Obama said he's going to do. No stone will be left unturned. Nobody will be a sacred cow. Whatever the rule leads, you're going to follow that. But look at the amount of drugs that were coming from out of the building.
Thank you, before we
of just consignment are being arrested. We are yet to verify and establish the type of drugs that are in the packages. So we are yet to verify this. But the only inscription we see on the packages are cocoa. We see cocoa substances, and we see 2 white guys, our alien on our cough, that are being arrested by the junta force here.
Now they kind of draw up when our media men were going to throw that thing in a car, or 2 men were going to hold that thing in a car, and throw in a car before they go to jail. Mo, let's hear from you. On mute.
Mo, you are muted.
All right, Walu, thank you. You're getting me because I'm still hearing the video play. Okay.
Yeah, you're
So I
good
was
now.
saying, before I start, let me say hello to everyone and thanks for bearing patience. Walu, the things still keep repeating.
Hey, everybody again. Everybody is not repeating anymore. You
All right, are
hearing
you
it?
getting me right?
Yeah, you're clear. You're fine.
Are you guys on other device on Mo?
No. I just keep hearing it coming like you're playing a game.
No.
Go ahead.
So I was saying Liberia for the first time scored 80% on the EITI report for the very, very first time.
What is ERTR for the public, Mo?
Is the what the transparency version for the mining sector.
Yeah.
All right, so Dwalu, let me start off with this. Last night I was listening to the Small Talk and Honorable Fude Famula was on the show. And he was talking about the possibility of how the drugs may have entered Liberia.
Yeah.
You know, since this drug burst, it's strange to sedition for the government, our security forces, to bust such huge quantity. Because during that time, it was only by mistake when the Americans told them there were 100 million drugs entering your kitchen. They didn't care, it entered unhindered, then they didn't care to check. And so for them, because government operators were involved during that time, and so it must be like that. Oh, you know, during that time, the same thing that used to happen, and so it's not possible. Samuel Jackson and others for that quantity of drugs to enter the country without the knowledge of some government operators, without the cahoot, the connivance of some government entities. And that's why I posted not too long. I said, since this Samuel Jackson Pape confessed to murdering the Salif guy in the 1980s, he had never regained his senses. And I doubt he will regain it.
Mo Ali Bao. Mo Ali there.
There is not any government in the world that can stop the entry of these drugs.
Nope.
In any country. In fact, I was just reading from one of our guys who served for a very long time in the US military. And the guy was talking about a YouTube video that he watched. How the guys are now using Starlink to scan the ocean, the water, to see where there is security concentration, where it's free, that they can easily transport their drugs through the water. And so when Honorable Fude Famula said, it's possible that people using the sea, beaches, to bring in the drugs, and the guys jump, oh, it's not possible, it's not possible. Now today, the Ministry of Justice had a press conference and said, look, some of the things confiscated were swimsuits.
Yep, diving suits. Yep.
Diving suit.
Yep.
Now, for those who don't know what diving suit is, that diving suit you wear it with the oxygen mask and everything. You go under the water, you can be there for a long time.
1 hour, 2 hours.
Exactly. So what probably these guys are doing, they will use these canoes, these boats, they bring it, they will now reach it to shore. They will dump it in the water and others will go there with canoes, with paddle, they dive and take it and put it on and bring it on shore. It's very possible. That's the only reason why they have all of those diving suits.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's strange to these people that drug bust is happening. Because we got messages last night from people who work at the port, the RIA at Freeport. And one of the messages said the AFL was there, they were assigned there, they got so fed up, they did one catch and they had to leave. Because every time they were getting instruction, boxes were coming in, leave those boxes, don't check those boxes. These people follow instruction.
Yeah, like soldiers.
And so they believe is that the same thing happening.
Oh.
Samuel Jackson, it's not possible for $300 million worth of drug to come in the country without the knowing of the government. They probably not eat census. And then somebody say, Liberia now become a narco state.
Yeah, imagine.
You know the quantity of drug that can enter America every day?
Hey. Continual low.
You know the quantity of drug that can enter European country? Do you even know what they call narco state? During campaign, we say we will catch them, we will dismantle the cartel. And you see, the stupidity about it is if the government does not go and investigate and discover these things, nobody will know that drug is in the country. During your time, CDC people, I want you to listen. Your government was distributing it to the people. That's why we have zombies everywhere in the streets. All over the world, not only in Monrovia.
Yeah.
That was the reason why we have people walking but dead. The walking dead were all over in the streets. That was the reason why we have proliferation of zogos all over in the street. We're not distributing drugs. We're catching it. We're catching the people. Does the minister say the house they found it in, that house no longer belongs to them?
Confiscated, forfeited.
Because that's what the drug law say.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, let me come to this statement. National Market issue a statement.
Yeah.
And his statement, he said, oh, need to living there. The other person living there. The other person living there. True. Everybody lives there. But when you go in our community, you ask how they call the rule. They call it Nathaniel Maggie rule.
That one not true.
When you get on the keke, on the motorbike, in the taxi, you say, I go in Nathaniel Maggie road that the play, they will hear you. The Unity Party will not say Nathaniel Maggie that you don't want to get it wrong. But it is the easiest way to describe to Liberians where the drug was happening. You got no issue with people calling the place Nathaniel Maggie road. Nobody said that you didn't want to get it wrong. But it's the easier way we can tell Liberians where it happened, particularly where the boss was. That part of Brazil, they call it Nathaniel Maggie road. Nobody call that place Nito Lai road. Nobody call it Deputy Police Director road and all those kind of things. So when you hear drug thing, you see when they say corruption is there, the only way you know corruption is in the country is when they are catching corrupt people and carrying them to court.
That's right.
When the CDC time, it would be difficult to say corruption was there. We knew it was there. But they were not prosecuting anybody. Today, you can hear Samuel sit down, he cried. Pinabono go to peace be to our father's arches and say, oh, the people. Now, the other thing, all the drugs thing people into, and they talk about the lifestyle today.
Yeah.
Society, that's why I don't envy any young men.
Thank you.
I envy people who I saw going through their struggle and they are up there. I envy them positively. But you and myself, and I see you going to school, and I see you working, and I see you struggling to make it in life. Suddenly, I just start seeing you houses, cars, and all the kind of things. My brother, and I envy you. And I know how your money coming. We're hearing that some people were arrested. We've not named them, maybe they are cooperating. Those people that were arrested, that's the reason why the justice minister said, when you see people living big life and you now know what they're working, go for it, report it. They've not named them, we know. And so let me end up on my CDC people. We're teaching you how to run a country.
Absolutely.
We're teaching you how to bust drugs. We're not teaching people how to distribute drugs to people. That's why the Liberians will not make mistake again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As for 111 from my one, Cole, I said we're gonna get a warrant for Jamaica Resort. Mahana said if I would have played. But Cole, let me ask you this question. Can anybody in Liberia say that the administration under Joseph Boakai is not actually dismantling the cartel, given what we are seeing across the country? Because one of the reasons why Liberian brought President Boakai to power was for him to fight drug. Can we say that he's not fighting drug? Can anybody say that? And why is he so angry that Hawa Goraka said that the campaign money they're taking for Nenso?
Exactly. Look, I'll say this, yeah? I'll say this. You see people making living. Now, it's in recent time that I actually got to understand what they mean by money laundering, washing the money. Oh. You see somebody that gets small business.
Amen.
But the money they're getting is too plenty, and you be one. Then sometimes you be wondering, but the person you're making profit. Oh. And then when they sell all their drugs, they go do it they report plenty. That my business account here, they just go and put it there. That the business are doing. Who can be doing barbershop or saloon or small casino in in Liberia? How many people can gamble in Liberia? The opening gambling place. How many people can get money? The people get money, they're thinking on their better things. So the only reason why this is at the top, we're hearing about the drug thing, is because when you are fighting something, it comes to the fore. If Joseph Baga were not serious about it, you will not be hearing about it.
Nope.
We're not changed 2-3 DEA administration in less than 2 years. And by the way, to inform Liberian people, it has appeared like the UP government has stayed too long in power.
Now, why are you looking?
People now spend 3 years. For your information, today makes 2 years, 6 months exact. When we go 2 years.
Can you imagine?
Today makes 2 years, 6 months. And the achievements is what they can stand. And so they make it low there. We now spend 3 years already. Today is 2 years, 6 months in power. And our achievement is more than your 10 years in power if you ever had that time.
So okay, but then I gotta go check your bank balance because then nothing they catch how I'm call that year from you. Yeah. Is the government doing what is it going to do about drugs? Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go back a little bit. I heard a lot of people say a lot of things. And I wanted to say that when I was executive director of Coastal and Inland Waterways, I was in charge of the Monrovia Regional Rescue Coordination Center. Liberia monitors ships using tracking systems. Every ship has a tracking system. So you have, and we monitor ships in our territorial waters, in Ghana's territorial waters, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. So for 5 countries, Liberia has the equipment, and we monitor all these ships. Artisanal vessels do not have AIS tracking systems the same way that commercial ships do. And I heard people say that, the canoes, they're using canoes.
Artisanal vessel, what do you mean? The one that can do small people?
The canoes. Okay. The canoes. The ones that have engines that can go out more than, a few nautical miles, that can go deep sea, those ones have AIS tracking systems. It's required. IMO, the International Maritime Organization, requires it. It's just the same way how cars have to be registered and so on. But I'm bringing that up to say that I'm not saying that canoes, the artisanal vessels, don't bring in maybe marijuana. Maybe they bring in some things they're not supposed to bring. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is something at this level, I don't think it's fair for us to look at artisanal fishermen. We have a lot of motorized vessels, fishing vessels registered in Liberia that operate in our territorial waters. Recently, we've had a number of cases around the world in the UK, Australia, Hong Kong, the port at Antwerp in Brussels, in Belgium, as recently as 2025, Vigo in Spain as recently as 2025, where they have attached large sums of cocaine under these ships. Divers were used to retrieve the cocaine under the ships. They're not going to go give that cocaine to artisanal fishermen in a crook wooden dugout canoe. They're not going to do that because it doesn't make any sense. Just the weight and quantity alone, they're going to be using bigger vessels. Trust me, there's no way they're going to put that thing on a wooden dugout canoe like it's boonie fish or what kind of other fish with a cassava fish or something like that. We have enough of these, and also the amount of artisanal or canoes that will be necessary swarming around to even put those things on. It just, in my mind, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. My thought is that they're using regular fishing vessels, yachts that are registered off our coast. These people are using these kinds of equipment to probably transport these things once they've retrieved them. The fact that they found a diving suit is very alarming to me. Most of this stuff, I don't think is being executed by everyday Liberians. We like to drag ourselves into things we need to be dragging ourselves into. When this whole thing happened originally, we made a statement on this very show. I said, we ain't get that kind of money. I said it. We don't have that kind of money. These people are taking advantage of the fact that we are a free country and we allow people to move and settle and do things as, more freely than probably anywhere else I've ever been in the world. I also said on this platform, and many of us have said on this platform, that the process of pulling or hauling rope to haul the bush, they're not fast process. It takes time. Nathaniel McGill, who is a sitting senator and who the drugs were happening right behind his horse. Nathaniel McGill got on the airwaves and started trying to attack and discredit our justice minister and the entire security sector. And we said on this platform that Mr. McGill was behaving like a guilty person who was trying very hard to deflect attention away from himself. When he became so anti-drug, why wasn't he so vocal against drugs when George Weah was president? He was Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. Why now that we're actually exposing drug cartels and arresting drugs in huge quantities, now he wants to be loud? And instead of commending the government as a sitting senator, instead of him commending the government for arresting drugs, he's rather undermining the security sector and saying, oh, we want convictions right now. They never wanted these melanin deficient foreigners to be arrested. They wanted them to be protected, to be above the law. They wanted Liberians, the little guys, the guy who drove the taxi, that the people that we're supposed to convict. Oh, how can these people still be persons of interest? Because these people were the rope we were hauling in order to haul the bush, right? The small people that they wanted the government to indict, had information that could lead us to these melanin deficient people that they arrested. This, for me, as an observer in this situation, it seems to me that many of these people who were making noise and discrediting our law enforcement were trying to protect these foreigners from detection.
Absolutely.
That is how it looks to me. And if I am wrong, so be it. But this is my observation, and this is what it looks like to me. It looks to me like, because the attacks against the justice minister, look, and the attacks against the security sector made no sense. You have people who ought to know better. Amara Kane, Senator, you ought to know better. Attacking the security sector during an active investigation. You got no background in law enforcement, in investigating drugs. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. But you want to undermine seasoned people. Some of these people who were loud and wrong owe the security sector an apology. They owe the Liberian people that they misrepresented an apology.
Yeah.
When you speak for your constituents, on behalf of your constituents, and in the interest of your constituents. You betrayed that trust when you went off attacking government officials who were working hard to protect those citizens you represent. Senator Kone and others. I sit sometimes and I listen to y'all talking, and it's disturbing how y'all like to politicize things in a negative sense for brownie points and accolades. You have demonized people who have been working with sincerity. You have gotten and spent your time and resources demonizing people who have been working with sincerity. And the people you represent, you have misinformed them and misguided them, and even at times slandered members of the executive branch. For what reason? What is the purpose of that? What is the cause? And to a layperson like myself and a citizen observer watching and listening, it looks to me like there's some kind of collusion or an attempt to cover and protect the interest of the people who you did not want to be exposed. That is how it looks to me. Maybe that's not how it looked to Ambrose or Mo or Menzi or Dwalu, but how it looks to me. So I'm just speaking of my observations. I'm not a court to convict you. I'm not a prosecutor. I'm just an ordinary person speaking about my observations.
Thank you.
And the Liberian people, the last thing I would say, let this be a lesson to us as ordinary citizens. Whenever you see a bunch of noise and confusion buzz around the place, pause and reflect. Pause and reflect. Does this make sense? Is this how we fight drugs, by getting up and grandstanding on social media, demanding a rush to judgment? If the justice minister, if the law enforcement, the security apparatuses had listened to the noise in the market, none of this would have happened.
Nope.
And our very own rescue people, were a problem. And we sat on this profile. I sat here on this thing and I tried to defend the justice minister, our own rescue people, because they don't drink the poison Kool-Aid. They not drink the corruption Kool-Aid. They want to sit there and condemn people because they got half information. Because one person said something, they want to run behind. Yeah, the justice minister, that bad person. He's trying to cover up. Because y'all can't stop and think for yourselves. The first duty of a citizen is to be informed, not to be a sheep, not to follow the loudest voice in the room, but to think. To think before you rush to judgment. And I really hope that this is an example to the rest of us, that next time something like this or anything happens, and the likes of Amara Khan and others come to condemn and judge, I hope y'all see through the politics they're playing and think for yourselves.
Thank you, Cole. And although you were closer on this topic, Harry, start making preparation. Kowu is absolutely right. The first duty of a citizen is to be informed. And one of the things that was bothering me during that time, and I love what the RG said yesterday. The RG said, and I will paraphrase him, he said, when we're telling you to wait, that we're doing investigation, this is what we're talking about. When everybody, especially people that were in the government, people were behaving, even my brother Ronnie here, they were all over the place behaving as though the government were not doing anything. But the government had inside information that we were not privy to, that we didn't know about. So going forward, let's give the government a chance to do the job. President Bouaka has made a promise to this country that he's going to fight the cartel in Liberia to remove them out of our country. And Honorable, this is being manifested.
Absolutely. I think I would say most of my thing from re-echoing a portion of the statement that was released today or read today by the Minister of Justice, because I thought that, and I think that these particular comments and the portion is very important for us to re-echo. But before I do that, I just wanted to set certain things, certain factual things that my brother Mizi said. The Shaitu Cole story that was on that Facebook media was not established 6 years ago. That Cole story have been in Liberia for, I don't know, pretty close to 40 or 50 years. And I know that because the guy who runs it now, who owns it, I know him. He was born in Liberia. He's a Lebanese. He was born in Liberia. He graduated from Stella Maris Polytechnic. He was even the president of the Liberia's tennis club. And he took over that Costa Rica brothers from his father. And so he called himself all Liberians. It was after, I think it was just 6 years ago, that the Colombian government asked him to be their consul general in Liberia. So he became the consular, or he became the consulate. So it was not established 6 years ago. I just wanted to correct that. I don't know how it ties in with this Colombian Spanish guy or whatever it is, but I just wanted to show, because I saw those journalists go there and started to try to see whether they were linking it to that and all that. But I just want to say that. But Dwalu, I beg you, please permit me. Let me just read this part of what the minister says, and let me quote. He says, the government of Liberia remains resolute in its determination to prevent Liberia from being used as a transit corridor, storage location, or operational base for illicit narcotics trafficking and transnational organized crime. Any individual, regardless of nationality, position, or status, against whom credible and admissible evidence is established, will be held accountable in accordance with the laws of the Republic of Liberia. We assure the public that no individual, regardless of status, influence, or affiliation, will be shielded from accountability where the evidence establishes criminal responsibility. As investigations continue, we call upon all Liberians to allow the justice system to perform its constitutional mandate without interference, speculation, or prejudice. The public is encouraged to remain calm, avoid circulating unverified information, and cooperate with law enforcement authorities. This matter should be of concern to every citizen because narcotics trafficking is a serious threat to society and national security. It corrodes institutions, corrupts public systems, and destroys our youth. Therefore, each citizen should start to look around his or her community and workplace and conducting lifestyle audit of their relatives, friends, acquaintances, co-workers, etc., and questioning the source of their wealth that is enabling them to live above their incomes. Anyone with credible information that may assist the investigation is encouraged to provide such information through the appropriate security authorities. Measures are in place to ensure that witnesses can provide information without fear of intimidation, retaliation, or interference, and the public informed accordingly. In closing, the Ministry of Justice remains unwavering in its constitutional duty to uphold the rule of law without fear, favor, or pressure. Justice is not measured, and this is the part that really catches me. Justice is not measured by the speed of the investigation, but by rigor of lawful investigations, the quality of the admissible evidence, and the integrity of prosecutions that can withstand judicial scrutiny. I read this because, again, just yesterday, after the program, I was going through the social media. And again, I see people flipping people's names, putting people's photos, on other media platforms, on social media, including my friend and brother, Julius Silly. I heard he was the topic of the spoon discussion yesterday. And as the minister says, we need to desist from doing these things. And I always said that even as journalists, some of the training we get is that that's why they call us the fourth estate of the realm, is that we're supposed to aid government for the good of the society. If you have information that will help, you give it to the security. If you don't, then shut up. Throwing these hooks in the public space. Oh, but we know they're still holding the other name. We know the name there. We know the people. They're still holding the other one. They don't want to see the other one. We don't know why they want to catch the other person. We don't know why they want to arrest this person. If you know why and you have the information, why don't you
provide it?
Why don't you provide it to the security people? Look, I will have no problem with anybody, any journalist who said, look, I had this concrete evidence. I've gone to the security people. I've provided them this information. They're overlooking it. They're sidelining it. But I believe it is cogent to this fight. But you come, when the people take one step, you want to take 5 steps ahead of them. Oh, we know they know the other person. Do we know they know the other one? In fact, somebody need it, and they can never call any. When we call somebody need, then you know what gets to me?
The whole control boy.
When somebody says that and say, look, they need to arrest call. I'm saying call you do anything. I'm saying call there, but call the thing what call do the thing what call no. I'm telling you, they put call picture there. But I say call no about you, but then what the hell are you calling her name for? Why are you doing that? Then they say that the disclaimer, I say more that the person about Muali the way I get the information, so you put Muali picture there, you put the person picture there. But I say, you say, but by putting the picture and saying those things, that's the same thing you're doing.
But Muali come get a rubber, so
you understand? So if you know something the security doesn't know, give it to the security people. Let them investigate. You understand? And I know plenty the world over, renowned journalists working with big New York Times, other things. The security people tell you, say, yes, thank you. In fact, some of the things they don't know the chair, they say, thank you. We give you exclusive. But if you release this, that person will run away. Check, wait small. We know you get that information, but working on something, we get that person. So then the security people and the journalists, they work together. But how people just come up and put up a whole name? And still, I say I was waiting for the names that will be dropped by Rodney from Front Page Africa.
He's not provided.
So that the entire security can collapse. The same security police will collapse. That ain't catching people today.
They're catching the BB Joy looking
at the security people who say when you call their names, you know their names.
Yeah.
All the whole security apparatus in the country will collapse. Which name you know? Which name you know? Which security man name you know?
We can spoil our country.
You understand? We shouldn't be doing this. This is a serious, and that's why I agree 100% with what Carl has just said. Maybe people's intention is intentionally throw monkey wrench into this thing, disrupt this whole investigation, let people so that we can get on the side of these people. We don't know, but you can't be doing that. And I agree with the minister because it's provided for in the law. All those assets that are used, the buildings that you're showing us here, that are used to store the drugs, the law says if you catch drug in that building, you must seize the building. The government must sell the building and use the proceeds to fight drugs. If you seize drug in the car, you must arrest the car, you must seize the car, you must sell the car, and you must use it to sell. So even the poor king who they say, oh, they won't call the real people, the men know the people, and they went seize a house on the old road.
Yeah.
They will seize that house because that's where the drug was. the one in that Toison, they will seize that compound. Send it one kind of business, will seize that compound, they will auction it, somebody will buy it. Maybe the equity fund will buy that compound that we make.
Oh yeah.
We said
our sub office.
But it is serious. And I just think that we need to all help to fight this war. But what we're doing to people, it is not right. It is not right. I'm not saying these people name you're calling the picture that you're putting there. I'm not saying they're there or they are not there. But if you are not working with the security people, stop doing what you're doing. Stop putting people's names out there. Stop putting people's pictures up there, and stop looking for scapegoats in government officials. Because I believe that people doing these things so they can have a saying to say, we told you that with the government people.
Yeah.
If they catch any government people, that means all the people they're arresting now, that just flow show because they mean people hiding. I don't know how they mean people will hide. I don't get to reason how Paul King losing his home, losing his business, spending the rest of his time in jail until he goes to court.
Yeah.
And if he's found guilty, that's not less than 20-25 years.
Yeah.
That he will be covering up for government officials.
He keep quiet. He will keep quiet.
I don't understand that one, how it will happen.
They will be cutting my diesel.
And I'm not saying government official is involved or not involved. But what I'm saying is that jumping these guns and telling the security people, you're just catching small people. You're not catching the BB people. Why you're slow? Why you're not doing this? And as Scott said, even senators do it. Why you're doing it? Why you're not doing this? It is not right. It is not right. So I hope I call on my good brother, Senator Snow, that credit card number, all that number you know for the man in London, please give it to the security people. Or maybe waiting for our man, Mr. Cummings, on the security protocol, and getting all the information. Because I know what time they will come. By the time they come, we'll finish solving it. Because the man was
so much cheap.
I mean, I've been talking about, I said the man leading the charge to bring his friends.
For investigation.
Our security boy know the work.
Yeah.
So he bring his friends.
Oh, they know the way, but they cannot draw. Where even in Europe to catch, they cannot draw that wall.
But what time the man friends coming?
He bringing his imaginary friends.
No, the man real friend, the man international friend, the man real friend. What time coming?
The man said that's to be walking straight all the days. So do the way you can do it in Mexico. You gotta bend all the way down.
No, I
passing the carry you.
I pick you.
Anyway, but what? And Harris come on screen. Look. They drop fight is everybody. Everybody get job today.
The day they made police chief, I swear without.
You don't want to know what happened in that country. We're straight in that country. Yeah, I am. We're present.
They Gregory retired and bring Dwalo there without.
You're not that. You don't come and cry in my country. And Harris come on screen, Liberian people. While Harris coming on screen, I want to say this to you. Everyone of us got a task in Liberia today. 1 second, Ibrahim. We got responsibility. If you're in your community, if you see something that not looking good, somebody come in the community, they're giving you free money. I'm not saying they're committing crime, but go report it to the police. Let the police do the investigation. Nobody where half of the money can be given or free driving BB car. Something is happening that is destroying that community. Messi, let's hear from you. Harris, you can come back on screen now so we can take some calls from our people in Liberia.
You know, this drug bossing to this cartel. Let me say thank you to Brother Prince C. Johnson because they said that they're only team now what they can do, and they say secret. They are saying that NSA are secret people. But equally so, this brother, that's the reason why I am saying when you give job to serious-minded people, you will get serious results. When you get job to qualified and competent people, you will get competent results.
Absolutely.
And that is what we are seeing now today. Our justice minister is working tirelessly, and the less of the police director, and the less of people Biago. All of these guys, they are working tirelessly for them to be able to make sure that their drugs issue a big zero to none. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Harris, it's up to you. Yes, my brother, all want the country. Look, we all got to put our hand around Liberia. Because the drug thing will affect every single one of us. Your cousin, your brother, your this, my own born brother from the same womb. It became right now, and small thing on my begin my labor in like brother trouble. So this is a serious problem. Serious problem. Harris having some difficulty coming in. We'll probably take calls from the international number first. In the meantime, while Harris is coming on board, making preparation. Okay, Harris is back now. Let me get Harris to come back on screen, and let's take some calls from our people. Harris, it's up to you, my brother.
Okay, so we go to the lines and take your calls. Okay, yeah, I think we'll manage this. We'll go to the lines and take your calls now. 0778665699, 0778665699, 0880561644, 0880561644, 0776293620. 0776293620. This person, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Hello? You're live. Let's hear you.
Good evening to our panelists. My name is Richard Sanford, calling from Caroline, Georgia.
Go ahead, Richard. You live.
Yeah, I want to appreciate our panelists. I want to appreciate Dwali for doing extremely well to inform us. I want to appreciate the Linear Council of Darius Ambushman and all other panelists that continue to avail themselves to inform us on national issues. The any issue regarding the drugs, I think that is a diversionary tactics by leaders, quote unquote, opposition to divert government attention from a real issue and continue to run with the narrative that, when you will conclude the case, when you will conclude this, when now you hear that you're chasing a cartel and you just make that investigation is just done within 1 week or 2 weeks. I want to ask the Linear Council this question. People who made the direct accusation, those who are former lawmaker or state actors make direct accusation. For example, somebody posted say,
just go straight to the question now. We have so many calls coming through. Okay, keep it for long.
Yes, the people who make direct accusation regarding the matter. What can the state do? Can it be called for questioning also? Because some will have the whole entire freedom of speech.
Okay.
And people who make the posts and things.
Thank you. We'll leave you 0778665699, 0880561644, 0776293620. This person, good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Harris.
Let's hear you. You're live.
And good evening to the entire panel. Thank you. My name is Derek Sina, and I'm going to participate. Hello?
Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, thank you. Let me commend the government to the current management of the Harris. I think we should applaud the government as compared to yesterday. Harris are letting PC, and you and I know PC have been one of the real base when it comes to ghettos. But since the president of Biago, Harris, I can show you the places that I knew yesterday. Today, I can pass there even 1 hour. Any hour I can pass there. But you know to pass there, you are going after 5. No. So I'm also ignorant. Let us stop this political thing, drug issue, this and that, blah, blah, this committee. And then this is my questions to people that question this, when will you do this? My question is, when you arrested or investigated the 100 million that entered here. Okay. I'm not comparing the two government, right?
Thank you.
But at least this government is trying to press when it comes to the fight against drugs.
Thank you, Derek. 0778665699.
077-866-5699, 088-0561-644, 077-6293-620. Let's hear you. You live. Good evening. You live.
I want to go our police and our bigger brother on the show this TV. We have brother the issue for things that will not take. I want to tell this government for interfering and quartering up because if we use the word rescue, we need to take on the testing. And just by the testing, feel like Bono, even was usually go today, before all the America, if they mention that period. Oh, but there are ways to take that money for. So do all that. The project is happy to project all the project. So in this case is that the thing that thousand group of people to benefit, few group of people take it, then the other group of people grabbing money to have to pay for it. So as a period, the lady to be the me where about this country, that will help to support this government and that is the interest of the people. I know you got the rescue mission, other people that want all they want. Well, people they don't want to agree. So we need to put our definite issue of rescue to see how best I can play a foot with a bit on and put it with our and get a political people there. But people here and put the care of the people put it by say, I'll get to my family, we share it and share it. So we need to support this government.
Thank you. 077-866-5699, 088-0561-644, 077-629-3620. This person is live. Your name and where you call from.
Good evening, I'm Moses and I'm calling from Brazil.
Go ahead, Moses.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to the panelists for such a discussion as well as Mr. Ambrose. Thank you very much, my brother. I listened this morning to Councilor Yofi saying that the action by the church, it has never happened in Liberia, so it should not be. I'm wondering about these people then who claim to be educated. If they speak the way they do and they understand the way they do, how much more about the layman or Charlotte? People should come with facts just as Mr. Mann did this evening, including the Albert Johnson men. These are people that are threat to our society because what they said in a wider society, people will not understand it. These are people that should be able to inform the public, but they can't misinform the public and people everyone to consider them to be educated. These are educated fools. Councilor Johnson is one of them. Is one of them. They are all educated fools. I would say that.
Thank you. 077-866-5699. This person is live from line 2. Your name and where you called from.
Good evening. This is Look, where I sit tonight, I am highly disappointed in the senators and those so-called journalists who try to exploit this investigation, who tries to step on this investigation, who try to intimidate the security, about this investigation. And every now and then they were on air, they were calling. Those kind of people, some of them claim they had, evidence that when they provided, the country would be on fire. Are these people not subjected to calling and asking them to prove what they say they have in their possession? This country, look at people, and will continue to have such people in our midst, and this country will not progress. But you hear me, our country is on the right trajectory, and Liberia is about to rise. Here, I know they have right now, they are ashamed of themselves. Well, okay. I tell you again, where Amara Kone, where everything they sat there and acted as if they are. But these are people who hate this government, who do not want this country to go forward. These are people, they don't even deserve to be where they are.
Thank you. We'll leave you. This person is on. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Thank God so much. Good evening, Howard.
Go ahead, you live.
Good evening to my good people in the studio. Good evening to Ambiman. Theatre Paco, whatever the United Party in the letter of Bureau Paco. Howard, thank you so much to my father. You know, they're jobbing a call Friday. They said, yeah, what was in the country, my community, where they drop off a Howard. So they were not used to sleep. We not used to sleep, but nothing called the threaten or the recounting. That they play the job over here now. You can have one ghetto. One ghetto, the answer on the ground. One ghetto, if you think you find you, they say, now, I pay that person. Now, why you call me? Well, some of them lawyers, I want some money, cover the expert, I want some money. They train in there who can be said, before I spend the money, it's sweat. The two of them are blue, and one of the things that have been so that you get, you go where the black goes to, they defend the road, and they say, well, the school. The one I call us that I will get home, and get a food. Yeah, we'll contend some of them. Yeah, the summer told to them, the way to you, that drop to the government with the down drop.
Okay, thank you. We'll leave you this person. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Good evening. Cool. Let's hear you.
Thank you. And let me say good evening to all of the panelists on this panel tonight. So, this is Quill William Corley, and I joined this conversation from District 3 as an executive of the United Party Intellectual Bureau. So, let's not appreciate all of you for the broad talking point. My point of view will begin with the Summit Wed issue. Summit Wed, you know, this detained appear on another community radio station. And it's proud like the flags and deceptions again on the platform, but thank God some of it were, you know, if they go on the platform, so you were checkpoint to him. And this is why I told him, when he said, oh, that period is about to go into war because the people, you know, carry on jungle justice and other view, they put dedicated me to that. I went in and asked him, I said, hey, Mr. Stewart, you are very, very confident of the coach dedicated to you. But then the same coach that said we observed in the ruling that something just went on, they decided to reinvestigate it. And they said, no, the first ruling was temporary. So we do not agree with it. But then because this other one is against you, he said, no, that one not for the vote now is from IR. So I said, look, if the government was targeting you, the government would not have said that to allow you to even win that game. The first thing is process of due process would not even be given to you. If the government is really for you. We saw how the president case went on here. We saw if we were in this country, that is the case the government targeted somebody. Because we know the ruling, we know the procedure. So if the government were against the US, then what procedure, right, the due process giving you, it would not be given you.
Okay, thank you.
That then everything in order to find guilty. So I think the issue of the job, let us accuse the government and the party leadership. And I want to use the medium to tell my president, President Joseph Iman Kwaka, please have down now to appoint Figaro Biago.
Okay, thank you. We'll leave you this person. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good evening.
Go ahead, you live.
Yeah, thank you. The new remit someone FQs are calling from Johnson Victoria Plantation and the Moderado County. Yeah, let me appreciate you, Harry, for you to continue to sit on a platform there and be able to accept our call. And let me appreciate the panel on the show. You know, in this work, let me appreciate the EA and the joint security for your job well done. They happen to be containing about the government. You know, Labrador, we just have to put our heart together. If I look at the especially for me, I look at it to be a pandemic, especially the drug situation in the country, especially the youth and the church because they are arrested. I think we have to be able to put our heart together to take politics inside it to be able to fight this thing at the end of the day so we can be able to minimize in a lower extent. We will not say that yeah, we'll be able to get rid of it totally. Even if we have to robot export at the port, I think we can be able to minimize, you know, be be able to the situation with the graphic come. They too much heavy, it's too much in the street. And again, you have that not to use car to pull or that or street or something on the car, let it be able to take it from there. Because all the cars, when you look at the street now, most of the cars now, they pull the dash screen on the head, not to be so. These are the things that somebody will be able to be carrying something wrong. At the end of the day, you will not be able to push up to that.
Thank you. We'll leave you this person. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, my brother and friend. This is Basil Ramos calling from Johnsonville.
Okay.
I just want to use this time to say thanks to the Joint Security and to also say thanks to you for educating Liberia on these issues. Look, we just want to encourage you to continue what you're doing, most especially pushing the president development agenda. We live with citizens in community. All that they are doing, they align and they consider their action to be distraction. The people in less than 3 years, this government is just 2 years, 6 months. See what this government is doing, citizens have lose hope. We said with them every day, Taisha, they're looking for things to hang on. And what they're doing is campaign. Message to convince the brave people that, oh, you have said, we have said it, Joycey, but I do believe you. TVC got nothing, they got no message hallelujah when it comes to incoming 2024. They have been defeated already. So all of them, the American already, there is no who history will know from 1990. Who we saw, we can't explain all those things because of his status today. It's a disappointment for this country to have that man representing our parliament at the level of everyone.
Okay.
So I don't want you people to feel discouraged. TDC are running campaign. They know all they say about George lie. How can this government be selling George? If the president is aware, the justice minister is aware of George, the George can leave this country any hour in the day, in the night. But the people are arresting George, showing it to the whole world, confiscating horses and other material. So who is sensible man will even listen to TDC that this government is involving George trading? So I want to just thank you and encourage you to continue.
Thank you. We'll leave you this person. Good evening.
Yep. Hello, here's the back from Congo Tambaru.
Yes, don't go ahead.
Yeah, I said, yo, thank you very much. I can really enjoy you on this show. Yeah, you're opening our mind. And moreover, let me say thank you to the president. And again, I want one more thing for the president to do to fight the guy who killed it. And how they call it, the auditor them. The auditor them want to stay on the clinic and help me too much. Yeah. I pray that the woman get strength from God to fight the people that are killing the auditor. Just imagine, both of them, they in the time room around, they kill them. My sister on them, I can see bad. They kill people not people like that. And the former president said that man, woman, penny. They were going to be former president and they're going to stay in jail.
Okay.
They were going to call him and say, you can't show the person that kill the person, but hey. Just thank you,
Thank you. Thank you, Ayrton. Leave you take at least a quarter. Then we call it a day from this end. 0778-665-699. 080-561-644. And this person is from this end. Do you like the name you called from where?
Hello.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm probably calling on the road. Those gentlemen, they okay, and not only for CDC and Unity Party, they get all of people in the country that do regularly on the very constitution. Yeah. And one thing I want to say, I hear some of the panelists on the show talking about the able to phone the drugs into some market hubs. But you know, you put drugs for it, you got to stop with this thing. Government is doing a job, the security forces are doing a job. Let me just stop police asking for both drugs there. Our community, and not only living in a community. The pressure, security and classroom, people live in a community, the maritime boss live in a community. Surely the stop police asking the whole drugs there.
Okay.
The government, the security forces are trying their best. Just stop. I expect people in government, the party, they all want to be talking about gold, they talk about majesty. No, we are correct. Stop police asking drugs there.
Okay, thank you. We have to leave you. We have to leave you and take this one. Our very last caller from this end. Let's hear you. Hello?
Good afternoon. Good morning. Yeah, this is afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know. Getting us for himself, right? Mr. Magay is trying to protect himself. There's information now that this guy who was arrested is one of the financial for CDC construction. And to go find out where they have Mr. Magay, the man is fighting. He wants to get, he's finding out connection. The man won't be connected. That's why Magay doing all of that. That's why Magay going up and down with all those statements there. Because we know the level, we know the position in CDC, and if this guy is contributing to CDC construction, Magay can tell all that he knows the man. He knows the man, and the man lives in the community. Right? And you know, please, maybe the money they make giving to CDC, that is a credit card you get. Please get all the information as senator. You also represent the material internationally. So please bring that credit card number. I don't want Labrador going in that. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you. Our very last caller from this.
The last caller. And callers, it's time for you guys to place your call here on the international front. Call into the show. Let's hear your take. Let's take a few calls on this end, and at least we can hear from our international caller. The numbers on the screen, that's 774-578-1963. Let's hear you guys take on this phone line. Caller, you are live, your name, your location, and state your case.
Hi, my name is Molly C. Ballard, calling from Virginia, United States.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I can go ahead with my question.
You go ahead. Go ahead, you're live.
Oh, okay. I'm calling really for the drugs issue. Since we don't have the expertise or the professional part to play in this stuff, I think we should contact the American Embassy to give us some ideas so we can be able to put these things together and find some of the backers on this drugs issue. As you know, the drug issue in America, they themselves are suffering from this issue. So I think we should get some help for people who really, really mess up for to go through these things.
Yeah, but I just want to let you know that Liberia has some expertise, and they are working with the Americans and the Europeans.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me.
Yep. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you calling from?
Thank you, Mr. Eduardo.
Yep, you're live, sir.
Everyone. Yeah, I'm calling from Seattle, Washington. Senator Brunel. Yeah, my concern here is that, when I saw someone today at our president compound, when they went to receive the Finabolo, I mean, I look at it, and sometimes, and not only today, but so many times, if president compound should be somewhere for security reasons, it should be somewhere you have a kind of crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the crowd are over, they can overcome the security.
True.
I mean, a prison compound, I used to be a truck driver. They labor so many prison compounds. We go to some prison compound.
In the middle of nowhere.
You need to drive the truck. You can't enter there with a truck. You have to park the trailer somewhere and take another trailer from there. Empty trailer, the truck will come from in there to come and receive the trailer and carry it there. Where you deliver. I used to carry food, to prison compound. Or that place there, rain the town, and the prayer will be all crowded so bad. I think they need to do something. That's
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Relocated prison compound. I think my brother Benzi mentioned that today earlier. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you calling from?
Hey, how you guys doing, man?
Hey, Blow J, welcome to the show, my brother. You're live.
Yeah, man. I think it's so funny sometimes, when I listen to the show. And then when I go on the other side, my brother Mo talk about Sam Jackson, talk about government officials to know about the truck. Look, these guys are crazy. Right here in the United States, when I was in the military at Georgia, you yourself, you know that. I was assigned at the border, or base at the border there to El Paso. If you see the U.S. Border Patrol guys, if you see them, they look like another military for another country.
Exactly.
But they still just cannot stop drugs from coming. Even recently, there was another tunnel that they discovered in I think this week.
Oh, okay.
Those guys doing this thing every day. The only thing you have to do is to just be vigilant.
Mm-hmm.
And especially that's why I say, look, I'm so happy with the kind of that control and security forces in Liberia today.
Agree.
We're proud of those guys. Look, drugs will enter, but we depend on them to search for those things and seize it. And that's exactly what those guys are doing. We should be commending those guys. We should be praising them. Look, wow. Those guys reported $1 million United States dollars from the border at the seas. You tell me, in Africa, especially in Liberia, when you heard that thing before, that security force reported $1 million United States dollars.
What's that?
So for people to be making all kind of crazy statement, I mean, I don't want to say that, but again, man, my brother, it's just all politics. People say, we use propaganda to move this government. What do you call propaganda? That is not propaganda, but you can't lie to the people. That issue of saying our people not educated so we can just use that, it's lie. They got common sense.
Yeah.
They can think. They can read between the lines, and the people live this reality. Yesterday, the people saw ghettos in the area. It was like a restaurant.
Yeah.
Trust was a restaurant. Today, the people don't see those things. And you telling me those people will say, oh, the government not serious?
Thank you.
You can't be joking.
Thank you.
It's the same thing about saying development. Yesterday, the man used to come from Zed to come to Monrovia. You got to pass all the road, maybe Ivory Coast, or spend about 3 weeks on the road. Today, the guy can leave early in the morning and reach Zed. And you tell that guy that nothing has improved in the country. It's like you just order your mind, So all these things, sometimes just laugh at them, my brother.
Thank you.
You guys keep on a good job, man. You guys keep on a good job.
Thank you so much. Our people themselves are seeing it. I believe my brother Paco called. He said in your community, no drug thing anymore. Carry your life.
Thank you, Dwaru. It is Jerry Chains doubly calling for Springfield, Mass. Dwaru, thank you, my brother. You know what I would advise? If our papi 2 year feeling, if he be 2 year feeling, we just make press for 1 week.
Hey, give up. I thought
So because by that time the country, the system already set us, so we just go through the system. But brother, they play it reach now the country may say certain time is food can reach somewhere before you open your mouth.
Exactly.
But brother, the country shaking, enjoying, understand what they call government. But brother, our people vote, they are regretting their vote is working in favor of the country. Councilor, thank you. That was a liquor thing.
Thank you.
Today, I really enjoy you. Keep on. We need to post something together for the council, man.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Caller, you're live. You're even where you calling from, Kate. You've been trying to get in for a while.
My name is Rachel Makainte. Thank you, Dualu. And
Okay.
I want to say thank you to all the panelists. I want to say thank you to Councilor Ma. Most of us that come to class, we are already being educated on a lot of things. But my concern is the lawyer for Samuel Tue. That's so concerned about Tue being a free man, but not concerned about the 15th person that found him not guilty going to prison. I don't think it's fair that people that say you're not guilty will go to prison and you will walk around as a free man.
It's oral for them, though. It's oral for them. Very oral for them.
Yeah. Okay. So my second concern here is the senators that have been talking a lot. That includes Senator Donald Dillon. Like, all these things they see for now, I think they just need to be quiet and let the people do their work.
Thank you.
Because they have talked so many things, and they were even looking for people that they can link all these things to. But from what going on now, I think it is clear, and we all need to be patient. I'm calling from Powertown, PA.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. We'll take our final caller here tonight. Caller, you're the last caller. You're live. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, you're live. You're the last caller for the night. You're live.
Hey, brother. Thank you guys for the show. Thank you for always coming on to keep the Liberian people informed.
Thank you.
I just saw something on Facebook. One of Joe we have there posted something 4 hours ago. Let me see if I can read that. He said the U.S. embassy through the NSA have requested that the head of the LMP, the EPS, and the DEA be withdrawn from the cocaine investigation because those entities have been compromised. I don't know how true it is.
That lie, that mean that propaganda, man. No, listen to me, man.
Okay. Thank you for the show. Okay, Papa.
Thank you. They made it looking for lie all around. But they lie. Anything they say, it's not going to hold. The drug cartel will be dismantled. President Bouaka has given his mandate. They will chakla all the drug defense going forward. Yo, thank you so much for making all these calls tonight. I got your pictures. My brother Abraham, your parting statement for the night.
Donald, let me say thank you to our followers. Thank you to all of you guys who are making a business for you to be able to come here, right? For you guys to be able to watch us. Thank you to all of the callers. What I want to say here tonight as my parting statement, I want to see reasons for the government to be able to try to facilitate, or maybe I'm saying it wrongly, but for the government to try to help Abraham Darrow's Dillon facility. Why? Because the brother is training Liberians. That money that brother is supporting that rehabilitation center with, it comes from his own personal salary. It comes from his own personal money. It comes from his own pocket change. To have men and women, people who have the expertise, people who know how to detox our brothers and sisters. The brother have not just done one batch. The brother have not just done 2 batches. The brother have done 3 to 4 batches of our brothers and sisters who have been detoxed, and they are reputable people now in society. So I see reason for the government to be able to try at least to give a hand of support to that Abraham Darrah Dillon Facility Center so that brother can keep on helping our brothers and sisters in them being detox for the drugs to be able to claim for all of their system.
Thank you.
The next thing is that I want to tell our president thank you for these drugs. You know, Duaru, they're having some senators, I'm sorry to say, but some senators, they talk more than they act. And as a leader, you should be the last person in the room for you to be able to speak. You should be the last person for you to be able to talk so that other people who have concern, they may be able to express themselves, and then you will be able to be the last person for you to be able to give your message across. But what I'm seeing the senator doing, some of the senators are talking more than themselves. And I strongly believe that our country, Mama Liberia, is not, we will not give room for such a senator next time around. Let them remember that they will be going for election very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to make this clarity. The U.S. Embassy in Liberia does not have the authority to summon the police director or any government official about that matter. The U.S. Embassy communicates through the Foreign Affairs Ministry. So that thing, the CDC will run one way, that's not true. The U.S. government don't have that authority. Mamo, your parting statement for the night, my brother.
Sarah Jasper Johnson, he said, please, can the drugs be used for something useful?
Nothing but
Chief. We say
before you come here, I beg you. What does it mean useful? Yeah. What does it mean?
Have you more serious and use the money?
You say I'm a sell it here, use your money.
But I'm telling you, 17 million and small money.
If the only thing they can do to that drug is to destroy it, burn it, and make sure it doesn't get anywhere. So I'm really, really happy for Councillor Ambrose Wine and the education he gave today. You know, I don't expect Councillor Arthur Johnson to say anything different. Samuel Twe is his client, and he will say anything to defend his client. That is understandable. I don't think we should get angry with him. For him, at any cost, he wants to win. And that is the reason why we have other level-headed lawyers who will come and teach us and tell us the reality. And we too can stand out there to educate the people. We've already asked some of our colleagues to cut that portion when Councillor Ma was explaining so we can populate it out there. Again, I am happy that our people are calling in and they understand what's happening. Today, one of my we are not exactly friends. He's always angry. Toga Biede, always very angry. Doesn't matter who's in power. He posted, wow, almost $500 million of drug worth of drugs busted. So I simply screenshot his post and said, a very big critic of the government. They always angry. Toga Biete, is hailing the government for busting almost $500 million worth of drugs. The mega first, he went and wrote one whole novel. He said, I'm reading a post upside down, I'm based interpreting a post. When you make a post anywhere, you're not going to be there to interpret it. So your post should be clear. I interpret your post as you praising the government. Because never in the history of this country has any government busted that quantity of drugs.
Never.
And so when it comes in, and we cannot say, because we don't have the facts, we don't have the evidence, that it never came in before. It's possible it came in, but it was never busted. Now we busted it, so that's the first in history. But it tells the seriousness to which the government has taken the fight against drugs.
Yeah.
It tells the seriousness to which people are helping the government, that people give the information. And there are a whole lot of information we are getting. That some of the guys or one of the persons who is part of the whole deal, they cut him off because most likely he's not in the country.
Oh.
They say, oh, okay, see the man and they free me.
They won't squeeze me?
You know what come out and say we'll free tie you, right?
Yeah.
See they free tie the man from the whole show. The man decided to give it up. And so the information will be coming small. And the vigilance with which the security forces are doing. Now, people say, oh, security men are involved. No, I'm not going to sit here and say no security person is involved. Hearing that they're arresting people and all the kind of thing, once they arrest people, it will come out. But I will close on the Rodney Sear thing because he didn't want to talk about. In less than 10 minutes, he was able to change it two times. But he said the names I have, when we expose them, the whole government will collapse. And so the ever dull Kev Hassan was very excited.
Ever dull.
So he wanted for Rodney to give more information.
Yeah.
So you were excited asking Rodney, and I said, Rodney, you just said.
I know you can describe it, man.
But that the man,
I can tell the man if you uncle I tell you, I say, oh man, you're very dull.
Very dull.
So Kevin said, ask him, say, my man, you say you got names. When you release those names, the government will collapse. He said, no, I never said the government.
I will find a clip.
At least the security sector. We all know what Rodney wants for this government. The least thing that Rodney wants for this government is success. Rodney that I know, if he has one name that will lead to the collapse
front page,
you will release it.
Front page.
And so they just sit and release fake information under the canopy of, I am a journalist. I am a journalist. So when I reacted to him right now, the Publisher Association of Liberia very vexed with me. They even wrote me a letter. They say if I don't clarify in 14 days, they will go to court. Okay. And I argued with them that I'm a man. And I told them, you understood my post. I'm not indicting the media. I'm not indicting the publisher. You all knew who I was talking to. And they say, I'm going to make it clear in my social media post. I say, when you get all the thing, when you say government official, then corrupt, you can get your source. You can make it blanket sometimes. But anyway, Minister Pierre been talking to them and we'll settle. So my thing is, Rodney again was on last night. How he got names and Colombian embassy. I'm not going to accuse a diplomatic mission without any evidence. And what the drugs is passing and all the. So my point is, this is what I want to close on. If these guys are truly patriotic Liberians as they are professing to be, as they are pretending to be, why will you have information on things that could potentially damage the country and you will not give it to the security sector, even if it is covertly, for us to avert danger? But you rather sit on a talk show and say, the information I get, we're just waiting. If they ain't call no name, then we'll call the names.
Yeah.
What patriotic nature, what kind of patriotism you got in you? What kind of patriotism you got in you? You had it about journalists. I cannot disclose myself. The thing that will destroy the country. Okay, if you don't want to disclose yourself, but take the security people off. So for Rodney to sit on the show every night, see the information I get, and they're waiting. You waiting for what? You want to see the downfall of the government, you get the information, release it. And then he got another man there who is also a very pretentious journalist. They call him Gibson Jeru. Now, by the time he open a mouth to talk, you know straight away he can. Oh, they dropped in here. It's damaging the government. How is it damaging government? A government that is busting drug cartel all over the place. Versus a government you supported that was distributing drugs. Who are damaging? But you see, there are platforms everybody can sit on, free platform, and just lie to the people. But the good thing is, the people can understand now. So when they ever angry, Toga Bieda may put the people when beating under it, he ran away from there, he will run over on me. We'll keep educating the people, and I want to welcome myself by your thank you.
Yeah, more and sometimes they post this thing, they don't go back to the comment because the comment, if you go to the comment,
very bad.
Before we go to Council of Mind, I want to remind people the greatest county in the Republic of Liberia will be hosting this year Independence Day, Grand Bassa County. Welcome to everybody to Grand Bassa County. Come and enjoy Bassa hospitality.
No move. Leo,
man. And how I yeah, more only way.
We ain't get no So let me say thanks to all of you. Welcome back, Mo. My man, how are you? How are your health?
They're doing what is that, man, talking?
My man, they making me that big cool 11.
My man, I could really give me here.
But I think that you alone that's not he left 2 days after I got it. In fact, seen the next day. It was not easy. But anyway, let me say to all of our many listeners and viewers, again, it's because of you that we come here. We don't pretend or claim to know everything. We're not all the repository of knowledge, so we don't think that we don't come here to claim that we know all. This is a learning platform, and we learn from even yourselves, from the comments. We learn from you every day. The law is an ever learning process. So, and as I said earlier, it doesn't mean that somebody knows law past a friend or the person knows law more than you. But whatever it is, we will always be here to do our best. Let me congratulate all of us Liberians as we look forward to a great celebration this weekend for our Independence Day. But we must also bear in mind that at 179 and the vulnerability of our country, we all need to put up our hats of patriotism and fight to make Liberia the best country we can ever dream of.
Yeah.
We must fight so that drug cartels don't take over our country. We must fight so that our resources don't go into individual private pockets. We must fight so that people don't use government positions to get rich. We must fight so that we can build a middle class and even upper class in Liberia. We must fight to create Liberian millionaires and billionaires if possible. We must fight to ensure that Liberia becomes a paradise in Africa, which I believe it is possible. Because with just about 6 million people and the vast resources that we have, it beats my imagination why we can't be a paradise in Africa. And I think within the last 2 years or 2.5 years, we have seen that if we indeed put our hands to the plow and people have country first, things can dramatically and drastically turn around. And all of us can be proud and enjoy our country. And then people will be crying for visa to come to Liberia instead of moving from there. Some places, you might will be given a free visa to go to places they don't want to go. We just want to stay in our country because it is possible. And so that is why we come here. And that is why we do what we do. Because if we don't do what we are doing now, the naysayers, the negative thinking people will always want us to go backward. So no matter how we are going forward, they will come all over the place and tell you nothing is happening, everything is bad, and always is the negative. But as I say always, there are more good and positive thinking people, Liberians in Liberia and around the world, than there are bad people. And we encourage all the positively thinking people to help us. Let's make Liberia a better place. Thank you, Dwalu. Thank you, Carl, for your splendid presentation today. I really enjoyed it. And you look so beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, she always does.
Have a blessed evening.
Thank you, Pastor Man. Thank you so much.
So my 26 on everybody who are talking all the things in the country and my 26 on you.
Yes.
All
and
right.
I want to highlight that the Liberian Diaspora Basel Association put this up in Grand Basel County. We want to say big shout out to them, man, for this beautiful song that they put there to welcome people to the great county of Grand Basel County. This year, July 26th, 179th Independence Day celebration will be held in Grand Basel County. All are welcome. You'll go celebrate with the Basel people who making your way up for. Cole, I got your pictures queued.
So to piggyback on what you just said, I will be at the 26th celebration in Grand Basel County with 100 massive pictures that we're blowing up, historic photos that have never before been displayed together. We have gotten the photos from 8 different archives around the world, different universities and libraries and museums. We've collected these, some from a couple of them from actual books, but please come and watch. And I hope the journalists come and cover these as well. We're going to have young people. So each photo is going to come with a write-up. We have 5 young people who are going to be there explaining answering questions and explaining to people what they're looking at and giving context. For example, Augustus Washington's daguerreotypes from 1854 are extremely clear compared to later photography, and they're going to be able to explain why that is and kind of give everyone education about photography. Before you show the pictures and before I forget, I want to thank Ambrose for coming on to educate us today. It's it's an act of selflessness and patriotism when people have information and they share it without any hesitation and without seeking compensation for sharing that information. So whenever I see people doing that, I applaud them. And you can tell Ambrose is so passionate about law and he's so passionate about what he studied. And my mother said when she was listening to him, he did not eat his school fees. And I agree.
Cole, you do the same thing, free knowledge. So
thank you. He didn't go buy pepper color for all the girls in the school. He paid for his books. He paid for his books and he ate his books. He ate his school fees. So let's go ahead and show the pictures. I just wanted to share them really quickly. It's late. I'm so tired. I'm not used to the time difference yet. I'm still.
So we're going to start from the bottom, and that's me right there, Cole. I don't know you. You were in my childhood somewhere. That's me right there.
Listen to this. Listen to this. This picture is from 1898.
No way.
It is from 1898 in Monrovia. And look at it. So the exhibition is going to be a lot of ordinary, everyday people. So we are everyday people.
1898.
Yes, this is a very old photo. This is one of the older photos in the exhibition.
Look at the house behind it. 1898, but look at the house behind it.
I know, right? But those plank houses have been there for quite a long time.
Okay.
So this young man wearing somebody's secondhand shoes.
Yeah.
He got his little the little wagon rim or whatever that is with the stick. When I was a little girl, we'll go to Ganta. They used to have the tires, and they'll put soapy water in there and take the stick. I don't see the fun in it. My brother, they'll be running up and down Guinea Road.
It's fun.
Yeah, they getting crazy. What are y'all doing?
They're just killing some of the energy that we have, extra energy. That's a wheel ring. We used to do it with a stick, and it keeps rolling. I don't know the excitement in it, but we enjoyed it.
So this wheel rim, if you look at it very closely, it's from an ox cart.
Mm-hmm.
An ox cart. Yeah. So there's not a kind of wheel rims you had in your lifetime, but it's just kind of cool to look at.
Yeah.
I wonder whose great-grandfather that is. Great-great-grandfather, right?
Yeah.
This is another one. Ordinary people. A girl and her little baby sibling. I don't know if that's a male or female child. They didn't identify this girl. A lot of the people in the photographs are unidentified, but she is in Zozo.
Lofa.
And they're in Lofa. And this picture is from 1940.
1940. Wow.
Yeah, so the date range is 1854 when the daguerreotypes were done by Augustus Washington, all the way until 1960.
Wow.
So we're going to have that wide range of photos. And this is a young student in 1958. So his name was Cully. Actually, I don't remember off the top of my head, but this particular person is identified, and so his write-up is going to tell about his life. He was a student in school. These are young kids on a mission on the St. Paul River. This photo is from 1932, and they're carrying water in these tin buckets. So the chores of the mission children was to draw water, so not to go fetch firewood. They would do light farming activities and things like that to help pay for their school, to help support themselves and pay for their school. And this is one of my favorite pictures in the exhibition. This is also in this is in Lofa. This is in Sanoye in Bong, what is now Bong County. And these, I just love how they're dressed, Walu. I don't know if you can blow it up for people to see a little bit better.
No, this is the biggest gap for now.
Okay, so like when people say, "Oh, we get culture, we gotta go wear the Ghana people clothes," or all that kind of thing. And man, we got the most beautiful country cloth in the world, and I said it. And here are some men in Sanoye, if I'm saying it correctly. Bon County people, y'all correct me. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So it's a family?
Yes, a family. This is also in Bone County, a young family in Bone. husband, wife, and their 3 children. So again, the exhibition is going to feature a lot of everyday, ordinary people. It's also going to feature some of our dignitaries. For example, there's pictures of Stephen Allen Benson before he was president, before he was vice president, when he was young. There's a photo of Daniel Bashir Warner when he was young, before he became, from 1854, when he was just a merchant, the McGill brothers. So we are going to show some, because in the earlier photography, it was very expensive. So only people that had means could get pictures taken. So 1854 pictures are going to be showing really our merchants, our merchant class, the people who used to have massive farms and also be able to carry ship owners, like, the Africanus McGill and so on. Exactly. So another family, this one is also in Zozo. So a lot of
picture.
And more, children on a mission doing chores. This group is doing firewood. The other one was drawing water. So these pictures are on exhibition, and the reason we are going to be showing them is to remind people who we are, where we've come from. And then I think it's also very powerful to see a reflection of our ancestors, how they lived. There's been so much propaganda about the past and making our people look like they were so pitiful and primitive and ain't know nothing, and people just came and bullied in, that kind of really pathetic narrative where we want to, believe so badly that we were colonized, that people like Rodney see it with their irresponsible journalism. You got some European guy who's an economist comes and writes some condescending rubbish that means absolutely nothing. There's no peer review, no Liberian historian or scholar checks him, and Rodney's paper goes and promotes this rubbish as history and even calls him a historian, which he is not.
I was going to order the book, but when I read Rodney's stuff, I got angry. I ordered that book again. I said, I'm not even going to read it.
Ever pay.
Because I want to see what he wrote.
In fact, I go and look for a bootleg copy of the book and don't pay him.
You know, Ron, I just realized that I want to read what he wrote. I was going to order it, but I caught myself after I read what Rodney wrote. What Rodney promoting this stuff? We don't even know what's in it yet.
Exactly. Also, I had mentioned yesterday, and thank you, Sal, for reminding me. I had mentioned yesterday that National Archives had an exhibition at Monrovia City Hall today. They had it from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., which was magnificent. The National Archives has been neglected financially for quite a long time. Archives are important, very, very important for a country. We always say on this show, you got to sit on old mat to plot a new mat. We can't just let the old mat disintegrate. Upon what will we sit to build the future? We must know where we came from. The same thing with the Liberia National Museum. Princess Eva Cooper, the Director General of the National Tourism Authority, has shut the National Museum down for renovation. When she took over the agency, when our government took over, it was in deplorable conditions. I don't want to really talk about it, but we should be ashamed as a nation for treating our national museum in the manner that we did. So kudos to Princess Eva Cooper for shutting it down and trying to gather resources to bring it back to some level of dignity and respect for the importance that institution, that museum has for the country. So that's good. And then this evening, the president had a commendation ceremony where he honored a number of people, well deserving. It was such an honor to be there, just hearing these people's wonderful life stories and what they have accomplished. I was fortunate enough to see a lot of people. I saw Pia Jerolemic. I've seen Jerolemic Pia so many times since I've been here. That's the highlight of my trip. I think I see him like every other day. I just run into him. And I saw Emmanuel Uri from EPA. I saw so many people.
Yep.
I saw beautiful, gorgeous President's political advisor, Magdala Cooper. She was so sweet, complimented my dress. I thought that was really sweet of her. I was like, oh, the former model can compliment me that I was just, gassed up my head really good. So nobody was able to be after that. After she got, I was just walking around like, yeah. But I'm trying to think who else. I mean, I saw a lot of Erasmus, who I always pick on, not him personally, but I always challenge the diaspora office because I really expect so much more of them. It's not personal, but I saw Erasmus, and he was, working really hard because a lot of the people that were honored were from the diaspora, so he was doing his thing. So it was just great to be out and see our people. The Minister of Agriculture was there. Of course, our brother Chris Onanuga and many others. So I just want to say that the government is absolutely working, and there are so many people doing the right things. And when we come on the show and we push the envelope and we say, hey, this thing y'all doing, we don't like it. It's not personal.
It's never personal.
It's not personal. It's not a condemnation of you as a person. It's, hey, these are my expectations. They're way up here. And if you fall short, even if my expectations are outrageously high, they're still my expectations. And when you fall short, I will say it. Because I expect us to shoot for the moon, right? Shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you will still be up there among the stars. But if you don't shoot for the moon, if your level is here, I'm going to be disappointed. I have high expectations. The president has high expectations. I have high expectations of the president. Everyone. And I'm not going to compromise my expectations. I'm not going to reduce my expectations to a level that I don't respect. I want everyone to rise to the occasion. How many times will you have an opportunity to serve your country? How many times in your lifetime will you have an opportunity to serve your country? The answer for most people is never.
Never.
Really. And here you've been empowered to do so. Do something with that power that is extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
Do something with that is extraordinary, that will leave a lasting impact. That's all I want. That's all I want y'all to do.
Could not have said it any better.
When I come on the show, I will continue to criticize. I will. And it's constructive criticism, but I want you to know it comes from a good place.
I'm gonna comment that you mentioned the National Archive. I remember when I took my children there, my daughter went in, she said, but Daddy, there's nothing here. And I couldn't tell her anything because we went, up and down. There was nothing really there. So I'm glad that lady is doing that. Hopefully they restructure it in a fashion where
she's that girl, that woman, excuse me. She's, my small sister, but that young woman has a huge vision. And that's what I'm saying about shooting for the moon, right? You have to think on that level. Yeah. One last thing I forgot to say is that the National Archives, I was speaking to Ambassador Chris Onanuga who's the chairman of the board for tourism. And he had mentioned, many African countries, of course, are getting their stolen artifacts and they're bringing them back to their countries and they're doing all of this. And Chris said, we want to do this, we want to do that. So we know where a lot of our artifacts are. The Peabody Museum, all over the world. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of stuff, government papers and things that should be in our archives sitting at Indiana University. We've got things at the U.S. National Archives. I mean, we've got things all over the world, right? But we are not going to bring them home yet. The one and what we get to our National Archives in Liberia, right here in National Museum, and we're not taking care of that mold eating, that water damage, moisture, humidity is damaging. Why on earth would we want to reach out and bring things home when we cannot even care properly for the things that we have? Let us first deal with that, and we can always digitize. That's why I said this photo exhibition, we are blowing these pictures up. We have copies, digital copies, and one day, maybe that your daughter or my son, Dualu, will be able to be a science archivist, a scientific archivist.
And run the archive. That would be pretty cool.
How to create the conditions to preserve old things, right?
Yeah.
So even though some of our things are rotting away in crates in the United States, at least they're not getting water damage. At least they're not getting water damage, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mo, I see you came back on. You got any comment before I close this thing up tonight? You're already behind stage. Maybe you got a comment or two before you run away. You unmute, my brother.
So information keeps unraveling.
Coming. Yeah.
This guy I was talking about, he just posted 51 minutes ago. 4 persons in the security sector arrested today in Monrovia connected to the drugs. Buadi and others say they are working. So I asked him if they bring him using to post here to make the post. If that is same bring he using school, because that is same bring he using school, you are going to say.
More you back?
If we said we are working, or if we say we are working, right? If we say we are working, and you say we are not working, then in the same post you say 4 members of the security sector were arrested.
Yeah.
Alleged linked to the drug. Then still say we're not working. What's your definition for work? Now I'm asking him which brain he using to post.
So they make a 2 brain.
Well, we say in opposition, ineptitude of the opposition. Who is their audience? Who their audience? That we want to push people more. Who's their audience?
How can you say we're not working? They say 4 members of the security sector are arrested.
Arrested.
How did they get arrested if we are not working? First, yourself, we're shooting people in the security sector. The arrest, according to you, I am not confirming it. The arrest, and then you say we still not working. So we're gonna bring it out. You see that
I doubt he even understands him more.
Journalists, the very good people who are journalists in this country, and the very good ones who are still journalists, you got the one there pretending and passing around talking about the journalists.
Yeah, man, I'm more Ali there.
Yeah, that's why they can get angry.
That's why everyone fight Mo, because he tells the truth. Why would you, Mo? That's such a good point. Why would anybody in their right mind say that you're arresting members of the security sector? Then they're criticizing that too. That means just like Edwin Snow said, they just want to see the country fail.
Yeah.
Because if the country fails under this administration, they think it makes them look good. Instead of them striving to have a great vision for what they want to do, they want to compete with failure.
Yeah.
They don't want to compete with success because they're losers. That's how losers think. Only a loser wants to compete with failure. When we were in opposition, we were trying to give George Weah good constructive advice. He didn't take it.
He didn't take it. He was smoking weed. You're talking good.
Yeah, man.
But the man was smoking jazz. Look, more let me close tonight. The man was smoking weed. I get a man picture. I will show you. Look, I want people to know the president has challenged everybody in the country. Let's try to do this. The president said, if you see something, you must say something. In your community, something looking strange, call the police. The police have a 911 number. I forgot the number. I should have it here on docket. Call the police and let the police investigate. It doesn't mean you personally go and do anything about it, but call the police. Because the government cannot be everywhere. If you're way in the bush in sound or you see something that is unusual, call your local police. They will come and investigate. This issue about drug, we got to fight it from every single angle. The government is fighting drugs aggressively. There has not been no arrest by any government in our history as much as the arrests have taken place in less than 3 years under this administration. The government is arresting drugs all around. So the people say about the government not fighting drugs, but they're arresting people. The most there, what kind of breed they're using. So at the end of the day, please, all got to fight this thing together. If you see something in your community, if you see strange people in your community, if your brother was busting Pangana, tomorrow morning you get helicopter, call the government and tell them where they get the money from. Nobody can get money over there, you must call them. Okay? I don't say when I can't like drinking my one star, you go call police because the old value drinking star. Where you take the money from? That's what I'm talking about. I talk about serious money.
They just walk in a decalabash, drinks for everybody.
Yeah, drink and hey. They say everybody to the decalabash will pay for y'all. And you know, yeah. That kind of money, nobody can do that thing normally. That is not normal. It's not normal. Okay.
You know, Dwalu, there's a young woman in Liberia that I saw to the nail salon the other evening.
Yeah.
When she came in the nail salon, and she had just dumped money on people.
Oh, that's the biggie?
Hey, I'm not calling no name here. So she parked her car outside the nail salon. And I mean, it had to be more than 30 motorcyclists just pull up.
The entourage.
You know the boys that, no, just regular boys passing by the salon. They saw her car. Her car is very distinct. And they came and they got bucket and towel and started washing the woman's car. That wasn't even dirty. I was like, wash my car. My car's dirty.
They call it level.
Go wash clean car. Oh, then she came. She was sitting down. She started sharing. You know, I think she was going to do push-ups or something. And then whoever won got money and stuff. But Liberians behave like, we're such sweet people. Dwalu, we have turned everybody into celebrity.
Overnight, unnecessarily.
We have turned everybody into celebrity.
True.
And then I heard people saying she should run for representative. And maybe she be
I go home. What? Hey, don't overlook you.
Maybe she would make a good representative. I don't know her. I don't know.
She can't make a good representative.
My point is the Liberian people behavior. Our behavior when we see anything shining, the way we can behave. We gotta pause and reflect as a
reflect, weigh it, understand it, critique it.
Yeah, we gotta pause and reflect. We can't just be. But yeah, shout out to number one show eater. She's got a beautiful spirit. I loved her vibe, the way she talks to people, very respectful.
Okay, Mo. Thank you plenty. Thank you for popping in here. And thank you. I will close this video today when the people were celebrating as they were taking the draw. All the people along the street, they were celebrating. Without playing a party song today, I want to show Liberian celebrating that draw leaving the community.
Liberians standing by the roadside, cheering the Liberian National Police. John security for the job well done. Community dwellers are happy. Community dwellers are happy. So it's a huge convoy. It's a very huge convoy. So the disbelief of some of the community residents really shocked. This is Liberia. Imagine you are not even in the know of what is taking place behind your yard. It's the scenario here, folks. This is Liberia TV. This is Liberia TV with me, Ayesin Diva, on this huge drugs bust case or discovery, if you may. And you will see women are happy, telling God, thank you. Community dwellers are celebrating the John security for what is termed as the biggest discovery ever. The biggest discovery of drugs ever in the history of Liberia. Very huge quantity. We will get to know the worth of the drugs, folks. So this is at the brink of celebrating Liberia's Independence Day celebration in Buchanan Grand Bassa County, the Liberia National Police, John Security, confiscating huge quantity of drugs, cocaine, by foreign national. We are yet to get the identity of the two individuals. If you haven't believed anything before, believe this. Believe this one.